got weird when I realized you guys could see me that whole time, and that doesn't normally happen. And I realized that about halfway through, and so I feel kind of weird about that. And then I just didn't make eye contact for the rest of the time. That's the plan. What is going on? Why is my Discord above that? Good evening, everyone. It's been a weird day. I think Trump. Have you guys been watching him? He might have honestly lost it. Like, it might be this might have broke him today. It's been so weird. I was ADHDing out. Yeah, it's been weirder. You think you had a more weird day than this? I don't know. Somebody tell Admir we're live. I don't know where Jen is. They're just gonna leave me up here. Thank you. I'm usually not as early as I was, so just happened to leave a live. Maybe you're not talking to me. Oh, it's been weirder with me? Oh, that makes more sense. My voice is shot, so I hope it's going to make it through tonight. My daughter brought home one of those colds, like kid colds that just live in your throat and your lungs.
Admir's here, he said.
Does he not know how to request? Oh, there's Admir.
Oh. I've been tapping, and I've been tapping.
I didn't know. Just have to hit request. Dude, somebody right when our live started this morning, somebody said you were like defending Trump over Epstein or something. Did that happen today?
No, I think what they're talking about is. Yeah, I know exactly what it is. So I said, okay, there was this 33,000 files. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, just show me where I can find those that he's in it. So just help me out. I don't want to read 33,000 pages. Who the hell wants to read that?
Nerds, I guess.
33. Yeah, I'm like, the fuck?
Were they saying that he was in the files or something?
Well, that's the claim. The claim is that. So I was listening. So I actually had a conversation with SK and all of that, and she was like, "Listen, everything that was released, we already know. It's the court files. It's everything that was released. So there's nothing new here." I was like, "Oh, really?" She goes, "Yeah, there's nothing that's new here. Absolutely nothing."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
of course.
It's already been released. This is what they did for the first release. But do MAGA people, do they know, do they think this is weird? Do they think that he's covering this up? Or are they just pretending this? Like, I went to Fox, I went to CNN, I went to NBC News, Drudge Report. It's not like the headline on a single website. It's weird. Oh, he's gone? Cool.
Well, he's turning his Wi-Fi? I don't think that's
He's just turning it.
He's just turning it.
It's hand powered.
You do that with your fingers? With your finger optics?
It's got a crank. Did you get it, Admir?
Maybe use your other hand.
Oh. He has to eat a loaf of bread to get it going again.
Getting on one foot. put a piece of foil in the microwave.
I feel like he doesn't hear us.
I am. I hear you.
Oh. But I asked you a question about...
I hear you.
Oh, did you have an answer?
Which one? I was turning off my Wi-Fi. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. What's going on? Are they just pretending that, Trump isn't covering this up? Are they talking about it?
So my little take over this is, so I remember about a month ago, everybody was standing with MTG and Nancy Mace and all of that. Now that her, even my neighbor, little Bobo, now they're turning on him, for so to speak. And so now they're saying, well, they don't believe all four of them. And I actually had an interesting conversation with one of them.
Wait, for real?
I'm dead serious.
All right.
I'm dead serious. And I had an interesting talk. Yeah.
What does it
I
take?
actually had an interesting talk with a MAGA creator who's pretty big, and she was like, "Listen, this doesn't change anything. What happened today opened the door, and Nancy Mace and MTG and Bobo and I can't remember the other. Who's the fourth one?
Anna Paulina Luna.
So there was 5 of them. I thought there was a dude.
Oh wait, no, Anna Paulina Luna hasn't signed on to it yet. Thomas Massey, yeah.
Thomas
It's
Massey.
weird. She said she was going to. I don't know why it's not like she said yesterday that she was going to, but she hasn't. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so weird now that this person was like, "Listen, what they did today just opened up the door, and watch what happens now.
Open up the door for
Everything's
what?
going to go sideways." So if you remember Nancy Mace, MTG, they were licking Trump's boots.
Yeah,
I've
heard that rumor.
Yeah, and now that they've done this, watch how quickly he turns on them and how quickly they oust him.
Oh, she called him.
In my mind,
she called him a coward today when he said, she straight up called him a coward. You guys, MAGA has underestimated the crazies, and I was talking to my friend right after our live, and I was thinking, I've always thought that it would be like the sensible people that brought down like the MAGA movement, and I always thought like the crazies are all the way in, but I forgot that like they're crazy because they believe all this shit. And so as soon as Marjorie Taylor Greene believes something, she's all in. Same with Boebert, same with Mace. And it's going to get them in the good graces. It's going to give them like for Nancy Mace, it'll give her stage time. But like, it's the crazies that are going to abandon him first. And those people, they have principles. They might be crazy, but they have principles.
Yeah, and it's weird that, other than Massey, that the women are now coming out and doing this. And so it's going to be very interesting of what happens the next week or two, because I think you're going to hear more and more people on that side are going to come out and support this. And this is going to be today was a devastating moment for Trump. I mean, it's devastating.
Yeah. Amanda, you want to defend your guy?
Oh, I didn't even see that Amanda was up here.
I didn't either.
I'm not something unrelated. Can you tweet the layout of this at all?
Oh, I didn't even change the words either. What do you want me to do with the layout?
I mean, Amanda's sitting on your face, so.
Wait, like on my screen, it's not. She's like in my armpit.
I mean, I can send you a screenshot from my phone,
so I can see.
But yeah, so they're. But also look at the screen. But watch the screen. Dolphin wants to send something. So pay attention.
All right.
Oh shit!
Shit!
Oh.
Wow. That was pretty cool.
That does it for me. I liked that. I like that a lot. That
was pretty cool.
I'm so uncomfortable.
So Amanda, what's your?
Is this how we're starting this today? Are we not going to move on?
I'm trying to get the attention off me, and so I'll
no, I'm all right. I passed the ball to Jen.
I sent you the screenshot so you could see.
Where'd you send it? You texted it to me.
You texted it to you. But W Dolphin, that gift was awesome.
Okay, I see where we're at here.
Yeah. So while we're doing the small talk that Jay loves so much, that's not necessarily what he wants to do. But so if you guys are opposition to RTP, Admir is supposed to be the moderator. Let's see how that goes. Have we consumed anything that? Have you gardened today, Admir?
No. I have to do my random tomorrow with FMCSA.
Okay.
And so I have to be cool, and then after tomorrow, then I'll be good to go.
Okay, sounds good. So if you guys are opposition to RTP,
I've tried telling you, Admir, those aren't drug tests, bud. That's just a glory hole, and you don't have to be clean for that at all. You're gonna be fine.
Oh. That's a whole different ballgame then.
Yeah.
Well, I think there is other layouts for this, but I'm not going to focus on it too much because we'll worry about that later. It is making my eye twitch. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to get down so that you can get opposition. So,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye, Admir.
Is Jen saying she scares him away? Is that what she's saying?
She does on my panel.
Where is your
As soon as Jen comes up, everybody disappears.
Where are your
Bye.
folks today, Amanda?
I just got here. Can y'all give me a second?
Sorry.
Oh, she is sharing it out.
Fuck.
People, you know?
I just want to know. Like, I want to just hear a breakdown. I'm surprised that I don't know. I'm shocked by anybody who is like on the Trump train right now. Like, this is a bad day for Trump. I'm really surprised to see anybody defending it. Unless you're like, making millions of dollars off of him, in which case I guess we can understand it.
Well, I was gonna say yours, but
Why the fuck? Why the fuck am I getting told to calm down in the comment section? Why the actual fuck?
In all fairness, you don't.
This is me calm.
In all fairness, you don't seem very calm right now. You
I am
just
very calm.
Scream out, "What the fuck!" out of nowhere. It didn't seem.
Oh wow.
Defend what? Freight is asking defend what?
Defend what? They're hiding the files. They're not releasing the Epstein files. They're telling everybody to just shut up about it. Trump literally was just like, it's a hoax. You're telling me that all those women out there, that was a hoax today?
Well, did you hear that one victim where she said, President Trump, why don't you come out and talk to us and see that it's not a hoax? We're real victims.
He said Bondi is.
And,
yeah, that's Bondi's what? It's her fault. Trump can't do anything about it. He's like, God damn it, I want to release him, but fucking Pam Bondi won't listen to me. We think that's what happened? Pam Bondi's thwarting. And Trump wouldn't immediately just tell everybody in the press, yeah, I told her to do it and she didn't do it. He would just take all this heat because he's such a gentleman. He'll take the Pam Bondi heat. Kind of doubt that.
None of those women said Trump was involved in it.
Yeah, they didn't say he. So if he wasn't involved in it, why doesn't he release it? That's there's literally no excuse for him not to be pushing to release this. What possible excuse could there be? We now have to defend people who are demanding the release of these files. That they could just pass the bill tomorrow. He could sign it, and we could have total transparency.
I mean, the way I'm looking at it is, if there's nothing to hide, then this should be a bipartisan. This is the only thing that they should unite. You know what I mean? My question is, why are Republicans fighting for it? Why is only 4 Republicans coming out and saying, yeah, we're going to support this? Where's the rest?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
This one doesn't make sense.
And that's what worries me.
This isn't even it doesn't make sense because I don't like the policy. This is I don't get it. You can't what kind of human is on the side of keep this stuff hidden? We had all these victims today say that there's powerful people on that list, that the government has failed them, that nobody even talked to them before they went and talked to Ghislaine Maxwell. How do you become a person who through all of this is I'm going to defend Donald Trump?
I have somebody for you.
Okay, hold on. I just got a warning.
Ready?
That's a good question.
Oh shit! I just noticed JM and Admir. Ah, fuck. All right.
That's a good question. What kind of person wants to keep these hidden? Well, when did these files come out? And how long did Democrats have these before they didn't do anything?
Joe Biden.
Okay, so hold on, JM. I mean, you're coming in very hot, bro.
No. I'm coming up with straight facts. Democrats have.
Okay, but hold on. Yeah, listen, bro. You don't run this thing. Yeah. Listen, bro. You don't run this thing. So let me explain how this works, right?
Let him just.
If you wanna debate this topic with Jay, and then I will go on mute, and you guys debate this. But you can't just come in here and start screaming and all of that. That's not how this works. So if you want to do this, that's fine. Me and Amanda will go on mute. You guys have a civil discord. The moment either one of you guys pops off, me and Amanda will shut you guys down. End of story. Fair enough? JM? Fair enough?
Are you done talking now?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Good. So as I was saying, okay, I didn't pop off, okay? Maybe my voice is a little loud. I'm sorry about your little lip dick ears, Admir. But here's this, okay? Democrats had this. They wanted to shut Trump down from day one. If he was honest, they would have not hesitated to use this. So, is Trump hiding something? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
should they release it?
Are you going to answer my question at any point, though? Because you haven't answered my question.
Okay, you're not going to let me finish, or what? You just talk over me like you always do?
No, look,
you're going to talk over me like you always do?
I've never talked to you, brother.
Yeah, I've been on here before. I've been on here before.
Go ahead and finish.
I recognize your face.
Go ahead.
Okay, good.
Jesus.
So you guys want to blame Trump, but what about what kind of people are these Democrats that had this? Right? They've had this, and they didn't release them. Why? It's not just Trump. Is he on there? I don't know. I'm not going to say he's not. But let's put blame where it goes. It's all around, and there's more than just Trump to blame for it.
Would you mind if I re-asked my question? Because I don't think you answered it.
Go ahead.
Why isn't Trump releasing it?
I just said I don't know.
So why don't you? So why do you support the people that are saying Trump should release it? Like, do you support Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Absolutely, release them.
So is he making the wrong decision by not releasing him?
I don't know. I'm not in that situation.
Do you think
there's obviously a lot more than there's a lot more obviously than you and I can understand.
Well, what would be a reason that like we wouldn't release these files?
You know what? I don't know. It could be way bigger than anybody could even fathom.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm saying. So it seems like you're giving him an excuse, but you can't come up with a reason why. Why can't we just call it spade a spade? Let's just call a spade here.
So
like it looks. Hold on. It looks like he's hiding it. That's all I'm saying.
And it looks like the Democrats are hiding it too.
Well, maybe I would agree with, like, if you want to say that they were hiding it, I would be fine with that. But like, I could give a fuck. I'm not a Democrat, and I don't think hold on, my friend. And I don't care. Like, I want the right thing to be done. I don't. What are you up here pointing fingers at Democrats for? Why are we not?
Because you're not talking about Democrats. It's all about
because
Trump.
they all signed and said to release it. So why would I talk about them?
Yeah. Now that Trump's in office,
all I care about is right now.
Hold up. They know damn well they're safe, and Trump's not going to release it. So you can point the finger at Trump, and he's going to take all the blame, right?
Wait, what?
But when the Democrats
JM. Okay, hold on a second. JM. Hey, wait. I can hold on, bro. So I'm only gonna say this one more time.
That, bro. I don't care.
Hold on. Listen, bro. Okay, listen, bro. If you want to be up here, let's be cordial. Have a conversation. No screaming. No interrupting. And all that. Just have a dialogue. If you can't do that, then let's move on.
It just seems like man to man, dude.
Please.
Like, why can't we ever just call a spade a spade? I don't even understand why we're talking about Democrats right now. If the Democrats didn't want this released, does that mean it's okay that Trump doesn't release it?
Release the files.
Yeah.
But you're not going to sit here and point all the finger at Trump.
I'm going to need you to answer a question.
We're not going to talk about the Democrats.
I'm going to. Why?
This is what you
why
guys
do we need to talk? Why do we need to talk?
You dance around.
Wait, hold
facts.
on, brother.
The facts are
brother. Why should we be talking about the Democrats right now? They're the ones that said release it. Why would I worry about what they cared about before? I don't care. I want it released. I don't care what's in the heart of any of these politicians. I don't care what game they're playing. The right thing to do is the victims are demanding it be released. They fear for their lives. Their lives are in jeopardy. So what are we doing bickering about? Well, the Democrats 2 years ago, who cares? Right now, they've signed up for it. Let's call balls and strikes here. Right now, it's the Republicans saying no and the Democrats saying yes. Does that mean that one side's better people or not? No, but I want to know what's a legitimate reason for this many Republicans to be like, no, we're not going to release the files.
So again, the Democrats are playing games.
Oh my
They
God,
had
brother!
it.
You got to
No,
answer my
no,
questions.
listen,
Stop talking about
I'm gonna-
Democrats. You got to
No,
answer my
no,
questions
I'm not
first.
going to stop
Well,
talking
then
about
you
it.
got to go.
Because I'm not going
All
to
right,
let it go.
we'll get rid of
I'm
this.
not going to let it go.
If you're not capable of
This
having
is
a
what you
discussion,
guys do.
yes, we're having a discussion about what actually happened today and not what happened 2 years ago.
Okay,
if
and
you're
I just said,
incapable-
release
and if
the
you are
files, bro.
incapable, if you're incapable of that, then let's move on to somebody who's capable of discussing today.
No, this is what you want to do. You don't.
Yes,
you want
this
to put
is
all
exactly what I want to do.
You
I
wanna
want to
put all the
discuss
bu-
today. I want to know why
So, Admir,
today
are you gonna have
are
this
not
Admir, or
advocating.
no?
Hold on, hold
I
on.
want
Hold
to
on,
know
not.
today
Hold on,
why you're not
JM.
advocating
Hold on,
for it.
JM. JM, hold on. You got to calm down. And no, me and Admir are here just to mod y'all. It's between you and RTP. I muted you. You can unmute.
So, like I said, okay, when the Democrats had it, you guys didn't want to talk about it. But now that Trump has it, you want to make all the eyes on Trump. No, that's not the Democrats. We're not talking about the Democrats.
You are doing
We're
the
talking about
very
Trump.
thing. You're doing
you
the
guys
very
had
thing
it
you're
and you did
complaining-
nothing with
Not
it.
you guys, brother.
This is a game that
Brother.
you guys play.
Brother, I'm not a
You guys are
Democrat.
playing
I'm
a
not
game
a
and you know it.
Democrat.
It's politics.
Listen, brother.
It's politics.
Brother, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not playing games. This isn't a game. I want to know why we're not defending the victims right now. Why are you more interested in talking about politics than getting these victims some sort of justice?
I
Is
just
it
said
more-
release the files.
Okay, so that's what I'm
Release
okay.
them.
I know that you said that. Now what I'm asking you is, why do you think that these Republicans right now aren't releasing the list?
Because you're playing good cop, bad cop. And now it's the bad cop. That's why.
Okay, so do you think maybe it'd be a good idea if Republicans who aren't in elected office put a little bit of pressure on their elected politicians to not do the bidding of Donald Trump, but do the bidding of the people? The people want to see this.
So again, you put the bidding of Donald Trump.
He's the one.
It's not just Donald Trump.
Well, he's the one. They're calling Republicans and telling them not to sign on to this what's it called, discharge. They're telling them not to sign up for it because that makes the files immediately available. We know this because Republicans have tattled. There's Republicans that have come out and said, like, yeah, we're getting pressure. Trump said, if you sign this discharge petition, that you are like, we will consider it a hostile act towards this administration. He's openly threatening them not to sign it.
I don't know what to tell you on that.
It sounds bad, right?
It does.
So let's drop the partisan bullshit and call a spade a spade. This is weird. It's really fucking weird that the president is threatening the Republicans not to release this.
It's a show, bro. It's a show.
I understand, but don't you think that instead of talking about the fact that it's a show, we should focus on these women who their lives have been destroyed by Jeffrey Epstein and rich and powerful people?
I agree. I understand this. I get it.
That's what I'm saying.
But my point is let's just not just point it all at Trump. The both sides are playing the game here.
But right now it is
You're
Trump.
making it all on Trump right now.
Because today it is all Trump, right?
Again, let's not put it all on Trump. It's the whole.
But how can I not put it on Trump if it today?
Because you're
is on
anti-Trump, bro. You're anti-Trump. So of course you want it all on Trump.
But I'm asking. I understand. Everybody here knows I don't like Trump, but that's not a legitimate reason. I can be anti-Trump, I can be anti-Trump and be right, and I can be anti-Trump and I can be wrong. We're deciding like what's right or wrong here. Democrats.
I just said release the files.
So Democrats have all agreed to release the files. So why would I be criticizing them today to appease your feelings?
Hey,
No,
can
you're
I
not
do a
criticizing
switch out?
Yeah.
Can you do a switch out?
Yeah, we're gonna do a switch out.
JM.
JM, thank you, bro.
Give me 2 seconds, JM. I have to bring somebody else up here real quick.
Yeah.
Let's bring up Freight. Yeah, I'll bring up Freight. Wow.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I have a little pushback, just a tiny bit.
Cool.
Okay. So I know this is your first time right up here. And it's similar thing like yours. You know,
Yeah.
it's one-on-one, and then you know how this works. So
Yeah, and I don't
you and
need
RTP
it.
kind of have it.
Yeah, I don't need it to be one-on-one. I just want to pose a different point of view. That's all.
Sure.
So Democrats have not said that they all want the files released. So Representative Khanna has said he believes that he could have all 212 Democrats. Not 212 Democrats have said that they would sign off on it. There have been 12 Republicans that have said they want it out immediately. There is no list of Democrats of the 212 that have said that they want it released. This is all bluster.
Well, wait, but hold
So
on.
sure.
If I'm going to take it, like, I'm not taking him in his word, but even if that wasn't true, like, there's not a single one that has come out and said, I'm not signing this discharge petition. Not one person has. So if somebody comes out and says, I guess that's fine. Like, I guess if you're saying, like, we're counting our chickens before they hatch. But the real question is, like, why is Trump threatening people right now and telling them not to sign this discharge petition?
It's a bad look for Trump, and I don't know what his end game is. I don't know. But the one thing I do fall back on is that, Democrats didn't do anything. That Trump has released hundreds of thousands of documents.
Wait,
he thinks it's a nothing burger.
This?
No, since the beginning of since the beginning of his tenure back in his second term, he's
Epstein
released
files?
a lot of documents. Yeah.
No, he hasn't released any.
Yes, they have.
No, they
Well,
haven't.
Pam Bondi did.
No,
Pam Bondi did.
those had already been declassified by Biden. She just put them in a binder. Biden declassified those.
I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I agree with that.
You should look it up when you get off here. You'll find out. Yeah, Biden
I will. I'll
declassified
look it
that.
up.
That's why, like, after they got it, all those conservative influencers are like, wait, we already had this. If they,
Well, hold on.
how did they already have that?
When you do a Google or AI check on that, it clearly states that the Biden administration did not declassify or did not release the documents. So I don't know.
What did you search?
I said, what documents for Epstein were released under the Biden administration?
They were declassified.
And it says, no, were released, I said.
Well, yeah, they got released, but they were declassified.
Well, I mean, you could ask it that way, sure. But released is what I want to know. What was available to the public?
All that stuff was available to the public when Pam Bondi gave it out. It was already public. None of that was new.
I never had seen it.
Well,
I don't know why we were waiting for a news dump for it, like little kids.
All the people
trick or treat.
Yeah, all the people that read it, like all the influencers that got this, have all said, yeah, we already knew this.
So, I guess the bigger question. I mean, your question is fair. Why is Trump doing it? I don't know. The bigger question to me is: do you truly believe that Trump had influence or was involved with Epstein Island? Because today I watched 5 ladies that were asked clearly on television, did Trump ever do anything? Was he ever engaged? Was he ever on the island? Did you ever see him do any inappropriate things? And they're like, no, absolutely not. No. And they all looked at each other like, no, that's a weird question.
Yeah.
And so, but the people in your chat are like, the ladies never said that.
Okay, but wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why does it matter if Trump was in those files or not? We just want them to have justice. And the only way we
I want to know if any of them are.
And the only way,
if it's Trump, I would like Trump to sink if it was Trump.
Hold on. I'm not worried about guessing what is and isn't in the files. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know why we even bother guessing. We don't need to guess. If we could just get our elected representatives to stop doing what Donald Trump wants, then we would have them and we wouldn't have to guess. Maybe he's in them, maybe he isn't. If you listen to those, they also mentioned there's two people pretty much said Elon. So it sounds like maybe Elon's in them. And yeah, you could come up with all sorts of conspiracy theories as to why Trump would want to protect Elon. But the thing is we'll never know, and unless they release him. So we can
coming from
what they mean, or we can just demand that they be released.
So coming from a Department of Justice and FBI from the previous administration that had documents in burn bags, do you truly think that every document that we see has not been altered, changed, faked? I don't know. I mean, I've lost so much respect from the three-letter agencies in this country.
You understand that there are documents in burn bags regularly, and that story is completely unconfirmed, right?
Well, I mean, just like Trump is on the list, is unconfirmed too.
No, that's just a thing people said.
Well, because you're saying that it is. I think that it is true.
Well, what do you mean you think? You didn't check?
Well, because Kash Patel said it was true. So I believe him. I believe Kash Patel.
I think I have this theory about like the.
Why don't you believe Kash Patel? Kash Patel's been right on everything he's done.
I have this theory that.
But has he been wrong? Has Kash Patel been wrong?
What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Let me talk.
Has Kash Patel been wrong?
Brother, I'm in the middle of a sentence. I will be happy to answer your question in a minute, but be a grown up.
Well, you asked me a question. I didn't get to finish it.
Please. I was in the middle of talking.
You asked me a question and then you didn't let me answer it.
Sir, could you please be respectful? I'm being very respectful. Just let me get out.
Well, then don't ask me a question and then talk over me. That's being rude,
I
right?
didn't. You answered the question, and now you're trying
You
to
said,
ask.
what are you doing here? And I tried to answer it.
No,
and
you're
then
trying to
shut
ask me
down.
a question about Kash Patel right now. Right? So let me respond, and then you can change to Kash Patel. Is that okay? I have this theory that the difference between conservatives generally and the left is that you guys stop looking for answers before you get one. You said, I trust Kash Patel. And then you asked me, like, why you shouldn't trust Kash Patel. My question is, why are you trusting the government? How did you, a grown man, just say, oh, I just trust the government?
I don't trust the government on everything.
You just said you trust Kash Patel.
So are you a classical liberal or what are you?
You just said, please stay on subject. Why did you just say?
Well, I am. I'm asking
Kash
you what
Patel?
your politics are, because you said
it's
you're conservative, so you're assuming I'm conservative. So I'm asking you.
It's completely.
I'm asking you what your politics are, because you just assumed that I'm a conservative.
Brother, listen. I'll go on to the next person if you don't want to engage in a real discussion here.
Okay, go ahead.
You want to go, or do you want to engage in a real discussion here?
Well, you just assumed that I was a conservative,
No,
but I asked you what your politics are, and you.
Okay, can we? Okay, all right. Can we stay on the topic that is at hand that you guys started off originally?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're pivoting a little bit. Can we just go back to the whole files and all that?
Yes, I want to know.
We agreed on the files. I think they should be released.
No,
I don't know what Trump's doing.
Excuse me. I want to know why you were comfortable.
I want to know. Excuse me.
I want to know why
Come
you
on,
decided.
Chris.
It's all right. Let him go.
It's so good. It's so good.
This is a weird crash out, man. I just want to know.
It's not a crash out. It's just very film.
Would you mind if I finished the sentence? Would that be all right?
It's very film.
This is weird, dude. This is really weird. I want to know why you thought that it would be like a good conclusion that you say, I trust Kash Patel. I believe it's because he said it.
Okay, because when the left and the Democrats were saying he was wrong on so many different levels on different topics,
like what?
He ended up being proven right. So I do trust Kash Patel.
Like what things would I point to?
The origins of COVID being one of them.
Where was the orange?
Well, remember we were sold on it being a bat in a wet market. Do you remember that?
No,
there was no gain of function. Remember no gain of function?
That's not. That's not about.
He proved that.
Okay, so you don't know. All right, never mind.
So you believe it didn't come from a Wuhan lab?
We've never definitively concluded where it came from.
Where do you think it came from?
Well,
you don't think it was engineered?
This is the difference between me and you. I don't fucking guess. I answer it accurately. The answer to where did it originate is we don't totally know yet. But you have drawn a conclusion once again.
No, our federal government told us it came from a market.
Excuse me.
Our federal government said it came from a market.
Excuse me. You have once again drawn a conclusion based on your feelings. And this is proving my point. Like, you guys all stop when you could still get answers. It's just lazy
research. Did you ever
research.
have it? Did you ever get it? Did you ever feel how everyone's symptoms went exactly the same, like it was engineered?
It's just lazy research, and now you want to talk.
It's not lazy research.
Now
We shut down our entire country for it.
Evidence. No, your research is.
We shut down our entire country for it.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about your research, bud.
What's my research?
You don't do it.
I think that the government released documents that said that they concluded it was manufactured in a Wuhan lab.
No, they didn't.
Gain of function.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Which government document says that we have determined that it originated in the Wuhan lab? What document should I look for there? Is this Kash Patel just tell you this one too?
No, Kash Patel doesn't talk to me. Sorry.
That one didn't happen, bud. This is what I'm.
So where do you think it came from then? Where do you think it came from?
We're not talking about COVID. We're going to go back to the Epstein stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so will you tell me your politics now? How do you identify yourself?
I don't identify myself as anything. You can just listen to me and you can determine.
You assumed I'm a conservative, so what are you?
No, I said I have a theory about conservatives, and you were matching that theory.
Okay, so what
then
are
I was
you?
Guessing that you were a
what are you then? Are you a leftist?
Are
you a progressive? Are you a liberal?
Ask the chat. I don't know. I don't identify as anything, bud.
Can one of y'all tell me what he identifies as, please?
Dude, you're bad at this. Like, you're real bad at this. Real bad. This is a little bit embarrassing, honestly.
I like it. It's enjoyable for me.
I'm sure that it is. You might have like a shame kink, but this is weird. Like you're a grown.
There's no shame. There's no shame. Dude, you're
be.
talking about the same thing over and over. Everybody agrees that the file should be released, okay? Everybody agrees. Now
Except
what?
for Donald
What do you
Trump.
want to do?
Except for Donald Trump. He doesn't agree with
Yeah,
that.
so he's not going to pay for it because he's not running
all
again.
the Republicans.
So now what?
And all the Republicans. I just
He's
wanna
not
know-
going to be able to run again. So now what?
Well, what about all these other Republicans? They have to run again. Why aren't they pushing for it?
Well, maybe they want it released. I mean, there's
Well, then why
12
aren't they pushing
Republicans that
for
want
it?
it released. So I would like the names of all the Democrats that want it released, because you said all of them have signed off on it.
No, I didn't.
And that's
I've
not
already
true.
explained this. We already did
That
this
is
one
not
time.
true, though.
All right, we'll go to the next.
Democrats have not signed off.
Yeah, shut up.
Representative Kahan, or
Do we have
Kahan,
do we
however
have
he
somebody else?
pronounces his
Do we
name.
have somebody else in the box? We're not doing reruns,
Yeah,
but
I
I already
figured.
explained this one to you.
Have a great day, sir.
All right, that was weird.
All right, next one.
America.
Hey.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just by looking at your profile, I'm assuming a Trumper.
Well, I am.
Hey,
Okay.
is Fuzzard?
Shut up, Jen. Shut up.
Fuzzard.
And no one
Jesus
drafts San Francisco.
Christ.
That's all I'm gonna say. No.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Anyways,
Bro, what the fuck? Admir,
was fun.
what's this shit?
chat, do me a favor. Quit crying in the comments about kicking guests. We will move on when we move on. So if you guys are opposition to RTP, you want to come up and have a debate, send a request. If you're friendly, get out of the requests because we're not bringing you up. So, like Fuzzard, see how he got kicked.
We got to Wuhan so fast. Like the speed in which Republicans want to run away from this story is admirable.
So I don't see who else.
Oh, JM's back.
Jam's back. So
What's up,
there you
man?
go.
Welcome back.
Well, I find something funny. Here,
Okay.
I find something funny.
All right.
I noticed.
So
how
hold
you
on,
said you
JM.
guys-
Before you go,
here we go. We got
I'm just listen. Hey, listen, bro.
JM,
I don't care what you guys
wait a
say.
minute.
Admir, hold on. Admir, hold on.
Truly,
Hold on. JM, this is my live, and the reason that I do it this way, Admir used to host this live, and he would moderate. I have a tendency to overtalk people, and other people have a tendency to overtalk. So Admir was always there, just like he's there to be a buffer, to make sure that we lay down ground rules. That's just how we do it here, because we don't want to do panels. I don't want to be screaming all night. So, I appreciate you coming up here, but I do need you to respect that Admir's only job here is to try and Amanda's to facilitate a good conversation. I won't jump in, but when Amanda or Admir's talking, they're just trying to calm things down or move it in a direction. So I need you to be respectful to both of them.
Thank you. And all I was going to say is, gentlemen, let's start all over. First time you came in a little hot. Let's start all over. Let's have a good conversation, man. That's all I was going to say.
Good to say.
All right, man. Carry on.
Okay, like I was saying, I find it funny as you ask this guy, Fritz or Freight, whatever his name is, that you stop searching for answers, but people like you keep going and looking for more and more and more.
Yep.
Okay, you didn't like what he had to say, where he found what he wanted to know. You didn't like that.
Huh?
Okay, you said he stopped searching for information.
Yep.
So what did you do? Did you just keep looking for the next left wing journalist, and once you put out a point that aligned with yours, you're gonna take that as factual?
No, what you do is
That's what you're saying here.
Wait, are you asking a question, or are you gonna just talk over me when you ask me a question? Do you want
Okay,
to
I was
really
talking.
know, or
Yeah, I was talking. So
Okay, go ahead.
see, you don't like people talking and finishing, but I have to do that for you.
go ahead, sir.
Okay, again, you look for a left-leaning journalist that aligns with your point of view, and you take that as factual, and everybody else that, you stopped looking for the facts is wrong.
Brother, there's thousands of people that watch my stream every day, including a lot of people on the right, and almost everybody would disagree with you, even the people that don't like me.
Oh, okay, almost
hold on,
everybody.
excuse me.
You
I
didn't
didn't
answer my
interrupt.
question.
I didn't interrupt you. So
You didn't even answer the
I'm going to
question.
answer your question. I'm going to answer your question, JM. So the answer is, what I do is I check for sources. If we're talking about like economics, I'm going to look for data. And I don't go to, I can't have a biased source if I'm looking at data unless the data is collected in like a biased way. So what I do, for example, when it comes to Donald Trump and the Epstein files, not once have I claimed that he's in them. Not once have I claimed that they are going to expose him. The only thing I'm saying is the one thing that we all agree on and know for sure. He's not releasing them. And I don't know why, and I don't know why Republicans aren't pushing for him to release them. Those are the only questions I'm asking, and it seems like me just asking questions is getting you upset. If you have an answer, great. If you don't, you don't. But like, I was just pointing out with that last guy, he stopped at a question. How is your ideology a question? If the last thing you say, if your point is a question, then like by definition, you haven't gone far enough. You haven't even tried to answer your own question.
So his source was Kash Patel, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so Kash is obviously wrong in your eyes.
No, I said, why do you trust Kash Patel? Do you have something to back that?
Why do you
Hold on,
trust
hold
who
on,
you got your
hold on.
information from?
Let me explain what I'm saying. We can calm down, dude. I said I wanted to know. I wasn't saying why as if you can't. I wanted to know why he trusted Kash Patel. That's not an attack. It's a question. And he can answer that question by saying, because Kash Patel showed me this data, or because Kash Patel hasn't led me astray. And he did answer it. He said, I just trust him. And I said, okay, well, why are you trusting a government official? I think that's weird. I think it's weird to have like a strong opinion on something and you're just relying on the trust of somebody that said something. That's weird.
And it's not weird to trust the point of view of a left-leaning journalist.
I don't do that. Listen, brother. I don't
You
know.
just do- yeah,
I don't
you
know
do
if you
do
know
that.
who I am. I don't do that. Nobody would accuse me of that.
Yeah, you do, bro. I've seen you on here
Could you
many
give me an
times.
example?
I've seen you on here many times.
Could you
On
give
a
me an
lot of
example?
topics, bro.
Could you
A
give
lot
me
of
an-
topics.
Could you give me an example?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to.
All right. Well, see, that's the thing, dude. This is a little silly. You're a grown man. You're a grown man.
Yeah,
And you're up
I
here
am.
t-
So are you.
And the truth is, you don't know what I talk about. You're just assuming.
Oh, dude, you're right.
What
I
did
don't
I-
know what you're talking about. But I don't listen to what you got to say.
Okay,
I
then
just
how
keep
would you know that I just?
scrolling.
Then how would you know I
keep
rely on
scrolling.
left-wing journalists for my
Dude,
opinion?
I've listened to you many times, bro.
You just said you don't listen to me. Make up
I
your
was
mind.
being
brother.
sarcastic, jackass.
Oh, so you listen to me all the time. So then it should be easy.
No, not all
Oh,
the
not all
time.
the
No,
time. Sometimes. When was the
no,
last time?
but I know enough. I know how
Okay.
you are. I know how you operate.
All right,
Can I
tell me
pause
how I
it?
operate.
You're like a jackass.
Okay.
Can I have to pause this?
Yeah, go ahead.
And
I'll drop.
JM.
Yeah, I would.
okay.
I would if I were you too, bud. This is
Yeah, because my ears hurt from fucking listening to your dumbass. Bud.
Oh shit! You got
What is
One
up
of these
with people
nights.
tonight?
Alrighty.
Oh, RTP.
Pops.
RTP, I
Okay,
wanted to ask you, are we... Oh, okay,
we-
go ahead.
I didn't know. So are we gonna do, if we have opposition, and maybe we need to figure out a way to indicate if we have opposition or not, a galaxy for a drop? Or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
Only if we have opposition though, so I don't know.
Just
Amanda,
ask.
do you want to put
Yeah.
something? Do you want to put like something in your background on the green screen?
Yeah, I can do that.
Something like that.
I'll
Okay.
put a picture of a galaxy.
Okay. All right, that works.
All right, cool.
What's up, Pops? It's been a while, man.
Somebody in the comment. What's going on, boys?
What's up, pops?
Yo,
You know.
he's alive.
What's up?
And his
Yeah,
service is
kinda.
worse than
I
mine.
thought was on vacation with Trump.
Yeah, it craps out. It was just perfect. What the hell? Can you hear me or is it screwed up?
It kind of just seems to
You might
go
have to
in and
turn-
out a little bit. Like it'll get loud and
Yeah.
then quiet and loud and quiet. I shouldn't have done that with my hand.
All right. Well,
Well,
can you hear
Pops,
me now?
I don't think I need to give you an introduction, man. You know how this works. So I'm going on mute, and you
Yep.
guys have fun.
What's up, dude? What do you want to talk about?
so my question to you is, you were just talking about the Epstein files, weren't you? Or you were
Yeah.
discussing that? I heard something about it.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what's the big concern about the files being released. I don't care if the files are released or not. That's not my business to know anything about that. What I'm concerned about is arrests being made, because if there are files that indicate people were on that island or whatever doing nefarious stuff with underage children, then arrests need to be made, and then the arrests can be made public. But what's the obsession with these files?
Well, so the multiple members of Congress on both sides and multiple witnesses today said that there are powerful people that covered this up and people that are that work in our government. Anna Paulina Luna even went as far as to say that Epstein was a CIA asset and possibly like a spy for a foreign adversary. And so now there's enough people that have like heard testimony behind closed doors, and it's coming from the right and the left. Like everybody in there kind of agrees that there were powerful people that were named. I mean, Thomas Massey is all but saying Elon Musk. One of the other people mentioned that one of the richest people in the world is on that list. There's been, and then I think Massey said like Trump's not saying anything because he wants to protect. Even Massey said like I don't think Trump's in those files. I think he's protecting his friends. And so now there's just enough people that are saying it that it's like there seems to be a lot of powerful people involved, and now it's fishy because it's like now that we have the testimony, now that the victims are demanding that that they be heard. Now all of a sudden, we got like, you know, we get a little gun shy about releasing them.
And I don't disagree with your statement, but releasing it to the public is irrelevant. It's arrests need to be made. People, I don't care if they're powerful profile people or what. They need to be arrested. So I don't care if the public sees all the files. I want arrests made.
So yeah, it feels
if they were, I don't care if it's Elon Musk. I don't care who it is. Arrest them.
It feels to me like what they're saying is, and what these witnesses are saying, like they were asked if the Department of Justice has talked to any of them or talked to any of them before they went and talked to Ghislaine. And these are like victims of Ghislaine Maxwell. They all said no. They said they never talked to us. And some of the accusations seem to point to this administration covering this up. I don't think anybody specifically has said a name or even necessarily directed it at Trump. But there's been a lot of like kind of subtle accusations about law enforcement, or excuse me, like I guess not law enforcement, like government officials, CIA type officials. There's been enough like people on both sides saying that it just seems like they don't trust the government to do the right thing, and the government's not releasing them. So it's really hard to trust our government right now.
Well, I don't ever trust the government now than ever. You know, I take what they say with a grain of salt. Okay, most of them are just trying to feed us full of horse shit. But to pin the whole thing on this administration is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Horse shit. Because the last administration had all the exact same information and evidence that this one has. And they could have done something about it. They could have released it just as easy as this one.
Well, I would say that the difference is, I agree with you. I think that I said this on my own stream today. Like, I didn't really care, but I will 100% admit that this wasn't a topic that I ever covered. It wasn't on top of my list. And even when they started pushing for it once Trump was president, I didn't care. I just assumed it would get released. When I started paying attention to it was when they started being dishonest. Like when they released the files the first time, it was like, wait a minute, we've already seen these. And then they were like, oh, it'll be here next week. And then it'll be here in 2 weeks. And then they changed. And then Trump started saying like, don't talk about it. And now it's a hoax. And so I think that's where, I think honestly, the reason that this is coming out now is not necessarily the Democrats or the Republicans that are elected. I think it's I think it's just like the general public. the general public has never been this aware about the Epstein files. And I don't think you can blame really politicians for that. Like every comedian podcaster talks about it, whether they're on the right or the left. South Park's making fun of it. Shane Gillis, one of the most popular comedians in the world, he's out there talking about it. Joe Rogan's talking about it. Like everybody's talking about this. I think it's more like the government got backed into a corner by the people. And it just so happens to be that right now it's Republicans in charge, and they are the ones that are holding it up right now. So it may not be fair to say like we lay it all on them, but right now that's just reality, is that they're the ones standing in between the release and no release. But I would agree. I don't think the government gave a shit until a bunch of people pressured them.
I get that point. And I do agree with you that where, everybody was expecting it to be released. They were saying, what was it? Pam Bondi was saying all that stuff about it being released and stuff sitting on her desk. And then all of a sudden they just kind of, I think they were hoping it'd just go away or shifted.
Yeah.
And then the story changed on stuff. And then, I do agree with some of that, but just to pin the whole thing on Trump, I don't know. I don't agree with pinning it all on Trump. Oh, Trump's the devil because he's the one not releasing it. He's not the sole one that can release this. Like Pam Bondi and all them other people are involved with. He can only tell them to release what they have or what they can release.
No, you're right.
And I see all the time people just try to pin it straight on Trump.
No, you're right. If like 3 more Republicans, that's all it takes is 3 more Republicans saying, I'm going to sign this discharge petition. There's nothing Trump can do. So to say it's all Trump, knowing that any 3 of these Republicans could step up and change that, I agree with you. That's probably unfair. But I do think that most of them aren't signing it because they're afraid. I do think he threatened them. I think that was pretty clear when he said anybody who signs on to this discharge petition, we will consider it a hostile act. So there definitely was a threat there. But I agree. All these people that are just doing it because Trump threatened them, they're not. They also own it. You can't place that all on Trump. I agree with you.
Well, and if there's powerful, really influential individuals on there, I'm pretty sure they got a hand in it. They could be people that donate to these politicians, these senators and House representatives, that could sign off on it. Maybe they've got their pockets lined from some of it, and they can't.
It's gonna.
Well, they could, but if you're a politician, your morals go out the window.
Yeah, it's going to get real conspiratorial for a little bit till it comes out. Like I even did on my stream today, but you can go back, and I do think that Elon Musk is definitely, at least Thomas Massey is basically saying Elon's on this list. And then you can go watch clips from Elon before the election with Tucker Carlson. He's like, if we don't win, I'm fucked. I'm going to go to prison forever. And he said there will be no plausible deniability. So there's going to be a bunch of conspiracy theories that revolve around that now, because I think more people are fingering Elon than Trump. And so I think the consensus among the media generally right now is that Trump seems to be covering for Elon. And now you're going to get a bunch of people coming up with theories about why Trump might be trying to protect Elon. So it's going to be a weird week. There's going to be a lot of fun conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Well, and that's a little bit odd to me too, because there was one point in time that Elon was tweeting, pointing the finger, saying Trump.
Yeah.
Kind of acting like Trump was on whatever. But
do you think it's
sometimes
weird that Trump
it's what is it? Deflect.
Do you think it's weird that Trump didn't go back hard at him? Usually Trump, his theory is, if you punch me, I punch you back harder. Does that set off any alarm bells that you're like, he didn't really punch back at Elon? He was just like, well, I guess we're not friends anymore, but I hope we can be in the future. It was the most un-Trump-like response.
So if it would have happened in Trump's first term, I would 100% agree. But this term Trump is different than first term Trump. He's calmer. He's not as brash as he was the first go.
I think that happens as you approach 80. That's probably true. He does seem a little less he's slower.
Yeah, he's
slower
not
to anger.
Picking either,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like we're on the same page. I like
All
that
right,
about
well,
you, Pops. Good
I'm gonna
talking to
drop
you.
down. I just wanted to hop on here and say hi, boys, and whatever. But I'll let you get somebody else to argue with, because we don't 100% argue on everything. Some
That's right.
stuff we actually agree, and it drives me insane.
Sorry about that, Pops.
I knew he was gonna say that. I was like, oh man.
Brother.
Thank you, Pops. No, I mean that's you know, because I was just texting some of the conservatives, and I asked the very same question. I said, "Hey, why is Trump threatening the Republicans?" And I got two answers, and saying, first one said, "No, he didn't," and the second is because he's a dictator. I was like, all right, well, at least you're saying it.
But
like,
does it
damn.
make them? Does it change their mind, or do you think most of like your Republican friends? Do you think they're just like they'll go like dictator before they'll turn their back on Trump?
Listen, I mean, I'm sure you know who Natalie is. She's like a conservative.
I don't think so.
Yeah, she has a huge
Jen is
following.
Jen is asking if you see anybody in your request.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because
Oh,
the
they must be
private
private.
Oh, it's private.
accounts. yeah.
Okay, I'll bring it up.
Oh, so okay. Alrighty.
Taco
Cat.
Good evening, Taco Cat.
I don't think it's loading. Looks like it's still loading on my end.
It's still loading on my end too.
All right, Taco Cat, you can jump back in if that wasn't a mistake. I'll let you back in.
No, well, what I was going to say is, you know, so because she's a pretty big creator on the right, and we had a conversation today, and I said, hey, you know, what's your whole take on it? And I'll tell you what, if I would have asked her about anything about Epstein files 24 hours ago, she would have been like, you know what, there's no proof, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Today on her live, she was like, hey, listen, enough is enough. We need this out. And I said, what changed? And she goes, didn't you hear MTG and Nancy? I was like, so it took them for you to kind of open up? She was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, here we go.
That's
And like I said, it's devastating for Trump.
That's significant. Like I know that I get killed on this every time the people feel like I coddle. People think I coddle Republicans too much sometimes. But like, just coming from leaving a high demand religion and like knowing the amount of loyalty that's demanded out of being like a MAGA politician, and also being women, knowing that like they know what's going to happen. They know that what MAGA is going to do to them. So to see that like the most courageous people in MAGA were their women, like the men are just like and then Thomas Massey, and then all the men just ran to Trump. Like, what should we say, Daddy? Like, it says a lot about that party. Not one of these dudes, like these women, some of them who have been abused, they're like, yeah, I resonate with this. I feel what these women are feeling. We have to protect women no matter who. And then all the Republican men are like, shut the fuck up. You're on your own. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's it.
Check your request.
Oh, go ahead, Amanda.
Okay. It's empty.
And that's the weird part. And in a way, it's weird, but in a way, it's like, all right, well, here we go. Maybe this is the turning table. Because once you start asking questions, and listen, I went on to like 2-3 conservative lives today, and that was the number one thing. Why are they not releasing it? And even SK was like, listen, the stuff that was released in these 33,000 pages, we know about this. We've known about this. Tell us something that we don't know. Give us something. And even I heard it because he was on Millie's platform, and even Millie was like, hey, enough is enough. We need this done. Why are we not doing this? And so you're going to see a lot of people that are going to start asking questions. And I think that's the downfall that's going to be for the right, is once people start asking questions, it's over.
I just want them to ask it too, right? Like I think that's the most frustrating part right now is that, and I was trying to say that to old boy, but he wasn't ready to have a real conversation. But it seems like every MAGA that's still on board here, like they're asking questions still that like you could get answers to, or at the very least you could conclude that they're not telling me the truth. They're clearly hiding something. And I think it's unmasking a lot of people. I think that if you're, whether we agree on anything, if you can't view what's happening right now and say government cover up, it's hard for me to take you seriously as like an independent thinker. I just don't. Even everybody we've tried to get up here, there's no excuse for this. This seems like it should be 100-0 issue. Like obviously they're hiding it. Obviously they should be honest. There's literally no reason not to release this list unless you're guilty or protecting somebody. And then there's still no reason because you're an elected official, so fucking do it.
No, I agree with that. And like you said, if you have nothing high, release it. My personal opinion is that he's covering up for a lot of his high-end friends. And he knows that if he does release it, I mean, I think that would be the end of him.
Well, don't you think, like, if he's not on these files, let's just say that he's protecting Elon and he decides not to. And let's say that Republicans sign onto this, they do the discharge petition, and then Trump signs it, and all these rich and powerful people get exposed, and maybe some of them are like Trump's friend. But he wins. He's like immediately an American hero. Because everybody that voted for him will be like, hey, you guys might hate him, but he turned on his own friends and he actually exposed the deep state. What am I going to say to that? Like, how am I going to argue that? Like, I'm going to be like, yeah, I still can't stand that guy. His economics are shitty, but like, I do have to admit that he did bring down the deep state. Like, that's a home run forever. That's like Donald Trump as one of the most monumental presidents of our time. So, and he knows that. Everybody on that side knows that too. They know this would be a home run if he wasn't in it. So knowing that, like, it's pretty hard to justify why Trump is hiding this.
Well, and that's the $1 million question, and you hit the nail on the head. Is he does this, his legacy becomes they'll forget about everything else, and people will start talking about it, and it's just going to be his legacy. Not sure why they're not calling it. It's weird. Why not just get it over with? And that's the part that I just can't understand. I don't get it.
Oslo has a question for you. He says, can you ask RTP if it's true Temp's scheduled to fly over during the victim press conference?
If it's true what?
If it's true Temp's scheduled to fly over during the victim press conference.
I listened to the press conference with the Polish president. I think there's plausible deniability there. It was scheduled. But Trump said that they did that to honor a pilot who recently died from Poland. Could be an excuse, maybe not, but that's what Trump said it was in his interview. He said that they did that to show respect for a fallen pilot from Poland. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe that or not, but that's what he said.
Now you have a guest up.
Oh, Mike's going to agree with me. Mike's not opposition tonight.
Mike has been, listen, Mike's
You have
been
any
getting a lot of
opposition, Mike?
heat.
I'm sorry, everybody is talking, and I'm being a fucking pig eating some pizza right now. What?
Do you have anything that you disagree with RTP?
Yeah, no, Trump fucking blows, dude. Yeah, Trump
Disagree.
fucking
I said
blows
disagree.
right now.
Disagree.
Oh,
Disagree.
well, we disagree on a lot of things. I think we want the same thing. We just have a different route to get to it.
All right, then what do you disagree? We're not here to record a
Actually,
conversation.
I DM'd Admir earlier. Actually, I came up. I came up to not have a disagreement tonight. Actually, I came up. Admir, did you end up shooting those videos over to RTP or anything like that?
No, because I don't know how to do that. I wish I knew how to do that. I don't know how to do that, bro. I really don't. I don't know how to do that.
Did you at least mention it to him, or am I just up here like fucking cold calling right now on a panel with like 600 viewers?
Listen, bro, I know why you came up here, and normally I wouldn't do this, but I think it has to be addressed, right? And I think this is a perfect time to kind of address it. We won't go like deep into it, but I think it just needs to be addressed. And I'm actually glad that you of all people are gonna do it. It's no drama, nothing like that, Jay.
Yeah.
I think he's just gonna call out MAGA people, and
Oh.
I'm loving it.
How about it?
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
yeah. So, well, I'll give you a brief rundown of kind of what happened, RTP, and you can tell me if you want to kind of go into it or not. So last night there was a huge creator on the right. This is somebody who used to be heavily involved with people like Millie, SK, older millennial, still very prominent. Who I don't know what happened. This guy's gone off the deep end. He was up on his panel last night. He was screaming the wildest slurs. I caught a bunch of
Who
it on
was it?
recording. It was Justin. He was calling people the N word with the hard R.
Bro.
He was up there like taking shots on camera and calling people who are part of the LGBTQ community the FAG word. I mean, this guy was going nuts, and I caught a bunch of it on video. And I came up just to make a quick statement, honestly, and then I'll get out of your hair. If you think that is what it means to be America first, is to go on panels, get very radicalized, say the most insane racial slurs ever. That's not America first, unfortunately. What I think is going on here is I think that we're seeing a lot of these people who claim to be these free thinkers, right? Like we're all Nick Fuentes fans, and we're the last defense America has for free thinking. You guys are like just a bunch of fucking morons that like lick each other's tongues and shit. You guys are fucking stupid. I don't understand.
Mike, hold on, Mike, do me a favor. And all of that. Could you just refrain from the curse thing? I'm not trying to get the lie. You know what I mean? If you can, please.
Jay already does that to himself.
That's right. They lick each other's
Yeah. I'm just kind of. Dude, I don't really know what else to say here. I was hoping you'd kind of see the video. Maybe you had some thoughts on it. But it was something
Screenshots of him
interesting. I thought
doing
maybe
it?
it was something you should talk about. I have the videos actually, and they're all bleeped out. I could play them. They are bleeped out, so I think it would be user friendly.
Let me just say, like, so I don't have I haven't had a ton of interaction with Justin. One time when HVAC took me over to their live, I didn't know who he was, and I wound up debating older millennial for like 3 hours, which was just like teaching him how to do basic math for 3 hours, and he never got it. But then Justin started hitting me up all the time, and he was like, "Hey, we got to do this. We'll make a fortune. Like, it's gonna be awesome. We'll make a kill. I've never made more money than we made tonight." And I was like, "No, man. Like, I don't really want to like partner with you." And then for a while, then he would do like these call out lives. But I think what happened to Justin is I think he got his heart broken, and he turned to, like you said, Nick Fuentes. I was scrolling by the other day, and he was playing Nick Fuentes videos. He got his heart broken. That girl like catfished him on the internet, which no shade. I got catfished on the internet. So Justin, I'm not shitting on you there, dude. I did it too. Mine was worse. And I think he just got hurt by women. And now this is what happens. Like dudes get sad. They're on the right. And the only place for like sad boys on the right to go is to like the incel route. Cause everybody else on the right's like, don't be sad. We're tough. We're alpha. So you have like, you can either go left, which none of them are going to do, or they just slide into the incel. I think it's like people like you, like your generation of conservatives that need to make people know, like, hey, you don't have to be a psycho. You don't have to only two choices, have a girlfriend or be a psycho.
Yeah, but I guess my problem would be is why are we seeing that movement? Like I'm still lost, man. Because when I think of what my beliefs and my ideology is, it's just freedom. Like, and I don't think I don't think that you should try and abuse that freedom to go up and scream racial slurs while you're intoxicated all over a live stream with 300 people active. I don't understand what the attraction is to have that kind of personality. And I'm really lost. I'm honestly disgusted because I really don't think that this is like a left or right issue. Unfortunately, I wish the right would speak about this just a tiny bit more about it's not okay to be racist. I think they've taken such a strong defense against, I guess, what they would claim is victim mentality, to where like they don't even acknowledge that racism does happen. Yeah. And I wish people on my side would speak up about this a little bit. Like that's not a guy going up to call out victim mentality. This is a guy who's off his rocker and wants to go up and call people the N-word on the internet.
Yeah, I think it kind of shows why it's important for legislators to not be corrupt, especially like ones that can work in a bipartisan manner. Because this is like the Republican Party, or I guess the history of conservatism and modern conservatism, like what we have now with MAGA, like this is identical to the conservatives of the 1930s and 40s, which were like schmatzy adjacent. They had everything besides like the extermination of the Jews, like they agreed on. And throughout time, like the Republican Party will have these waves where they will go really, really far right and then back to the middle, and then it's like too far. Then it's like hate crimes, and they come back. And I think that's the moment that we're in for the right, is that there's an obvious split right now, and you have these radical people that are going to go down that pipeline. And I think, like, even for you, like, I had a friend that's a professor that is said he's a libertarian forever, and we were talking last night. Like, that's why I said the first time we talked, I really think that you guys have far more in common with, like, the socialists or the democratic socialists than you do with the conservatives. And, like, those groups need to get together, because those, like, Gen Z is sensible. They think about shit. They're not really that concerned about, like, necessarily what's politically correct, just like what makes a better society. And I just think that I really think that this is what this movement's going to expose. And you're going to have your alt-righters who are going to be dipshits the rest of their lives, and then the rest of you guys kind of have to figure out what you're going to do with the conservative movement. And maybe you'll be able to push it more libertarian. And I think if you guys can do that, you'll find more agreement with the left. I think then you can get back to bipartisanship. But the way politics are now, and with Donald Trump involved, it will never be anything but divided. That guy doesn't know how to do anything but divide. He's incapable. Like, if somebody gets mad at him, if somebody criticizes him, he just divides. That's all he knows. He just knows chaos. So we'll never be like, we'll never stop getting further apart until, like, that ideology and that Trumpism is removed from our country.
Oh yeah, no, that guy's a dipshit. I don't know. I don't even know what he's doing in office anymore at this point. I'm not stoked about it at all. Well, and I don't think that it's necessarily that we can't agree. I think we probably do. I actually agree a lot with what your intent is, RTP.
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of your live streams the last couple of days. Look, man, I don't want to see a genocide happen in Gaza either. I don't want to be involved in this. I don't want to be a part of nation building. I don't want to have the elitist class suppressing the poor. I think we agree on a lot. I think we just have a different idea of how to actually go about addressing the issue, and that's just a fundamental disagreement. But I wouldn't say that you're unpatriotic at all. I wouldn't say that to anybody, honestly. In fact, if anything, I would say that I think you're one of the few critical thinkers, even though we're on completely different ends of the aisle.
I appreciate that. You've actually said that to me privately, and I appreciate that. It meant a lot to me. Here's my question, because here's where I'm with, like, I've kind of viewed it this way, like, in an ideal world where, like, you can trust everybody and people are acted in the best interest of their community, I feel like libertarianism works. But I do not see a path where libertarian will ever fully function, because there's too many people, there's too many conflicting ideas. And every time we move, like, in that direction, it seems like it gets hijacked by, like, these white nationalists. And so then, like, my second preference would be, why don't we start talking about the programs in America and just identifying, like, what works in a free market, what doesn't. And if it works in a free market, then let's let it operate in a free market. And if it doesn't, or if the state does it better, let the state do it. And that's where I want, like, that's where I wish, like, the libertarians and the left could get together, because neither one of you are ever you're not going to get socialism, you're not going to get libertarianism. It's just never going to happen. But together, you guys can, like, combine some really good ideas and make, like, a really, really good country. And you get to get rid of those pesky alt-righters that really only like libertarianism so they can have an ethno-state.
Are you familiar with Chase Oliver?
I love Chase Oliver.
Chase has actually done pretty similar to what you're talking about. He's very fiscally conservative, and socially he's very progressive. I don't mind. I don't mind progressive policies. I really don't. My issue is kind of what you just said. In a perfect world, if we could trust everybody, I would actually want a government. If I knew that I could trust everybody. And so I think the disagreements that we have here would be that you don't trust people to do the right thing. I just don't trust the government to do the right thing. And as far as the free market goes, to be pragmatic. I'm sorry, Amanda, what?
No, I was saying, Jay, can you check your queue?
Yeah.
For any private accounts?
Yep, it's empty.
As far as being pragmatic, though, some socialist policies I understand. They make sense to me. And some of them I feel like aren't realistically, a net drain or abused by people or any sort of government overreach. I can agree with a lot of that stuff, actually. So would I agree with you on some of these ideas? I would. And probably a lot of the ideas you're thinking of, I'm not really against. It's mostly just I'm against. I hate to say it, I'm kind of against the state as a whole, man. And I don't think that's an unreasonable take. I think anybody anywhere can look back in history and say, yeah, our government's fucked up pretty bad sometimes.
So my question, that's where I get with like communists, and I get to the same place I struggle with communists and libertarians, is that in both scenarios, basically the end goal is that there is no state. But if you have no state, and I mean, we've got 350 million people-ish in America, with no state, what's to stop one group of people arming themselves and becoming rulers? You know? Like,
yeah, I'm not an ANCAP. I'm not an ANCAP. I'm a minarchist.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, you told me.
I struggle with that exact same thought too. How can you protect the rights of the majority if you don't have somebody who is the arbiter to protect those rights? No, I agree with that statement.
Yeah. If I show up with more people or more weapons than you, I win. And then it's just like then it's the Andrew Wilson show where it's just like force principle everything. And I just don't like that world. I don't like that world. But I think you can look at different sectors of like where I want the government. Like, I don't want a private police force. Do I trust the police? No. Is there any chance that like a private police force would be more trustworthy? Hell no. Hell no, they wouldn't. Because once you give somebody that power and you remove your ability to like correct that power, it's a problem. So I think you can go through our entire government structure and say like, what happens if I remove that power? If I give that power outside, can it be used to like subject people to rule? If it can, don't do it. And even though the government can do it too, at the very least, like that's why you have democracy, because at the very least, collectively, you can remove a corrupt government.
I would actually slightly disagree with that. So when it comes to things like the private police force, even though I don't believe in that, even though I would argue that should be a state-ran organization, I would say when you said the private police force couldn't do it better or be more efficient, I guess that's kind of what you're getting at. Am I right?
No, well, it would be hard to make it more efficient because you're going to automatically like include a profit. Because if you're gonna have it operate in a free market, people are gonna want to make money off of it, and you're gonna need investment, and they're gonna need a return off it. So I think like economically, it's not gonna be more efficient, but it's more about what happens when like they abuse their power and what kind of retribution we have or what kind of control we have. And if it's privatized, then it's really really hard to take that power back.
So this might be a slight pivot, right? Because I'm not agreeing with your premise there. I guess I'm just trying to shed light on a different side of it. Okay. So I agree, economically speaking, it would probably be more expensive if we all had to pay for police officers, private security, things like that. I agree with that stance. I guess the stance I would take is that I would view it similar to like the private prison system. I think if they weren't protected by government and funded by government, I think that would probably be a better program to go to than a state or federally ran prison. And the reason why is because I think they kind of skirt around they skirt around having bad reviews. They skirt around having consumer demand. They skirt around a lot of those things because the government really backs them. I think if people stopped protecting the federalized prisons, I think you could see a lot of things like that fall apart, or similar to Boeing, right? So I think in that aspect, when you say they could do it better, I think when you have the ability for corporations to kind of get real-time demand statistics, and they have incentives to do well because people won't pay for their services if they don't do a good job, I think that creates efficiency. I do believe that.
You probably disagree on prisons because I just think that most people don't give a fuck what happens in prisons, and like it's advocacy groups that wind up getting in front of members of Congress. Usually, like when there's a movement to protect people in prisons, it's not like a movement throughout society. It's some sort of advocacy group that gets in front of a member of Congress, and they run it through that way, and then that's when we all decide to join. So I probably wouldn't do that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like I do think some things operate better in a market economy, but you also then have to introduce a bunch of regulation, and that's another place where there's a struggle. Like what we know about from this country is that when we heavily regulated both taxes and industry, the middle class was massive. And for the last 50 years, we've been deregulating and lowering taxes, And like, it has not gotten easier to run a business. It's just all monopolies now. And so the idea of like, we need heavy regulation if we're going to fix this. We need heavy regulation. We have to go in and break up monopolies. And that's why I think like where the libertarians can come with the left, we need a supermajority to get all this shit through. And that supermajority is going to you're going to have to take two big factions and put them together. But that's the only way we can get these things through. And the libertarians are going to have to be cool with like heavy regulation to solve the monopoly problem, because you're not going to solve the monopolies through deregulation. They're just going to win.
I'm fine with breaking up monopolies. I think that's pragmatic for today. No, I might get I might get kicked down the stairs at the next little libertarian, camp out or something. I don't know. They might bully me or something. No, I think breaking up monopolies in today's idea makes sense. But I think we would advocate differently on how to stop seeing these huge oligarchs.
What would you
I
do?
think you want to do it through. Honestly, the way I would do it is I would probably rework, and it depends on the industry, right? Obviously, some industries I could see having regulation to be pragmatic.
Let's pick one and walk through it and see.
Let's do the coffee industry, right? That's something that already has. You could regulate it more, you could regulate it more, but it already has a low barrier to entry. It's easy for people to get in and create competition.
So you're saying deregulating there helps, right?
I think the low regulation they already have has already helped. I think that's a big reason why you don't see like Starbucks isn't bigger than Dunkin' Donuts or vice versa.
Oh, you're talking about like restaurant coffee, like coffee houses.
Yeah. So actual suppliers or actual vendors, right? I think the reason you don't see a huge monopoly on that market is because there's a low barrier to entry. I think it's more applicable for people to get in. I think if Starbucks were to try and buy out the competition tomorrow, right, and then try and artificially raise their prices because they're now the only person who's in that industry, I think you would see somebody else, because the barrier to entry is low, would come in and immediately start competing with them. And we've seen that before, actually.
I probably agree with that. What would you do with oil? Oil and gas.
Man, oil's a hard one because
right?
Yeah. Oil's a hard one. Oil's a hard one specifically because one, oil doesn't work with inflation. Did you know that? That's the only thing that all the economic schools agree on, is that inflation doesn't actually inflation trends. Don't affect oil prices. Did you know that?
That kind of makes sense because it's global and inflation isn't usually like necessarily global in the same way. That makes sense to me. I never thought of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's interesting. If you go pull up oil price charts, and if you look at rate of inflation, or if you look at core or super core, they don't line up. They're not even close.
Interesting.
So oil is a hard one because oil works. One, it doesn't work with inflation at all. Two, there's bilateral and trilateral agreements nationwide and worldwide for oil. That's a hard one to get in and say, should we regulate it? Should we not regulate it? What would kind of make the most amount of sense? I'll dive into it with you, but I don't have the answers.
Because I agree with you. I think that there's problems. Some of the biggest problems with the oil industry are, one, barrier to entry, especially now. Like, those rigs cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and the only people with the money to do that are the people who own oil companies now. Like, it's almost impossible to enter into that space. Why not nationalize it and use it to pay for education, use it to pay for healthcare?
I think that's worked really well for Abu Dhabi and Saudi Arabia. They've actually done a really good job with that, to turn that into like Commonwealth line. I don't know if that would make sense here in America, just because I'm very
Why not?
Government shouldn't be a part of corporations, which is why I spoke out against Trump and Intel.
But can I ask you a question? Because this makes sense to me. Like, that's our oil. Collectively, we own that oil. Why should a handful of people profit off of, like, they don't own that land. They lease that land, and it's ours collectively. Why have we decided collectively as a country to give all the profits from our resources to like a handful of people?
I don't think we collectively agreed to that. I think a few selected representatives agreed to that.
Yeah, so why not nationalize it?
My problem with nationalizing would be then you're putting the total control of it inside of the government's hands. And I don't think the government does well with money. I wouldn't trust them with oil as well.
But
I would entertain the idea. I do think that I would agree with lowering the barrier to entry. I think oil leases are a wreck. I've actually had to get a couple of them. That's where I started, was the pipeline welding industry, and now I've moved into purchasing some rigs.
Yeah,
and getting oil leases, it's a pain.
Let me push back though, because like I think it's kind of a little bit of a cop out to say like I wouldn't put oil in the government's hands because they can't run. Like, the government runs plenty of things efficiently, plenty of things they don't run efficiently. But even just getting rid of the profit motive, taking profit out of this, you can run it really, really efficiently. And their goal is the government. Like, they don't want to have to raise taxes on you. They don't want to do deficit spending. So their goal is going to be to run that as efficiently as possible. That's how they decide. Like, the people are going to decide if they're doing a good job or a bad job.
I would disagree. I don't think the government has a motive to do well when it comes to handling things like that. If we were to put all oil inside of their hands and do a Commonwealth line, I don't think our government has an incentive to try and do right by the American citizen. I mean, they tax as much as they want, and they control the money printer.
Who would they tax?
What incentive do they have to give us a good product?
Because they're elected officials, and we elect them. So it's there, like, that adds something on their plate that we directly can blame them for. Right now, when there's problems with oil, when oil prices go up, when they're manipulating the markets, like, you can go complain to your congressman all you want, but the reality is, like, they're already bought and paid for. But if the buck stops at the congressman or the congresswoman, I think that adds incentive for them to do well. And then again, like, as Americans, we have to elect people that make sense. We probably need to pay elected officials a lot more money, especially on the state level, so that we can actually attract people that are going to do a good job, people with expertise.
So the reason I say that I don't think that there would be much incentive would be for the idea that when we say that the elite and the rich don't care about the people at the bottom, that's what most of Congress is. So I would make an argument that I think at minimum at least 50% of Congress probably doesn't have a whole lot of incentive to do right by the American people. And that's just outside of the actual monetary side of it. I think the other side of it would be that.
They already have that. They've already decided not to do what's right for the American people. They already side with the oil companies. They're already selling us out. They're not going to sell us out to the oil companies if the oil companies don't exist. There's no more person to sell them out to. The only power that matters to them at that point is going to be the electorate. And I think that's one of the problems that we have here in this country, is that we've given so much to the private sector that like, every government official can be like, well, you know what? I want to do it, but I can't regulate. You know, we don't want big government all the time. And so we just live with, like, a shitty system.
I disagree. I think they still absolutely would sell us out. Let's be honest here, right? The lifeline to government is collective revenue, right? And we do trilateral agreements all the time for oil sales and things like that. I think the government absolutely would sell us out. I mean, the government sells out other countries all the time. That's why we have troops in Venezuela.
But to who? When it comes to
via trilateral agreents. Yeah, via trilateral agreements.
Explain that. What do you
I
mean?
think a good example. I think a good example to give you an image would be Trump's OPEC deal. I think that was a shit fucking deal.
No, wait, hold on. Give me an example of how they would do this. Like, how, once the oil was nationalized, how would they sell us out once it's nationalized?
Yeah, so I think they would do something similar to what they've already done. I think even if we nationalize the oil, right, we're only nationalizing probably just the drilling of it. I think a lot of the refining would still be done offshore because we cling to a lot of these EPA regulations. So even if we nationalize it, they would still offshore all that stuff, and we would see prices still go up.
Nationalize that too. Nationalize it all.
So you'd be fine. We'd have to do EPA deregulation at that point to be able to do a lot of the oil refining here. Would you be fine with that?
For EPA, well, I don't think we need to drill as much oil. I would say heavily invest in renewable energy. It's the dumbest thing possible that we don't do that. It's crazy that we're doubling down on oil anyways, but if we're going to drill it, we might as well profit from it. And, like, we're in the hole. Let's pay our bills.
Out of curiosity, right? Do you think that do you think the government does well with supply chains? Because that would be my other issue. Is I think if we see something again like C-19, we'd see supply chain crisis.
I mean, they do. Well, look, C-19 was different. Like, you had to create a whole new process. You had to create a whole new mechanism. We weren't prepared for C-19. We didn't have these mechanisms in place. But, like, the infrastructure is already in place. It wouldn't, like, it's not like all this infrastructure will go away. You already have people that are running the supply chains that work for oil companies. If they don't work for an oil company anymore, who are they going to work for? I don't know, maybe somebody else that needs expertise in supply chain, and it happens to be the U.S. government. Like, you would just hire those people. It's not like you don't have to start over. It's I mean, SpaceX did that. You saw when SpaceX took over to NASA, basically, they just took all the employees and moved them over.
Yeah, but that's a private corporation. I'm doing that, right?
Yeah,
so here's where I find the difference. The reason I brought up supply chain. Yeah, so the reason I brought up supply chains and the reason why I brought up us being sold out is because if we were to go this route, we would have to do EPA deregulation, which I would be in agreement with, so we can refine that. That's a big reason why we're not doing as much refining as we did, 15 years ago.
Or sorry, real quick, can I ask you a question? When you said offshoring it, you meant offshoring it to not offshore. You meant like to other countries to do refining?
Yeah, I think we would end up getting into trilateral agreements with other nations so we could refine it. I think that would be.
We could still look at that.
I think that hurt us.
I would look at that and say, like, is it gonna cost us more? What's it gonna cost us with EPA regulations? How much? Like, you could do a cost analysis on this. I don't know where we'd be, but if it made more sense to do the refining in a different place, I would be okay with that. But again, still, like, the government's drilling and we're sharing in those profits instead of like a handful of billionaires sharing in the profits. I think one of the things that's frustrating sometimes when we debate is like what we're talking about right now with nationalizing oil. There are hiccups, there are problems, but what we're talking about is significantly better than what we have right now. It benefits all of us. So we can nitpick it, but even when we nitpick it, it's better than what we have now.
Yeah, So here, let me link this argument together a little bit for you. So the reason why I talked about us being doing trilateral agreements to refine it is, one, I don't think that would end up good for the American citizens. Two, I don't think it would end up good because I feel like the government doesn't do a good job when we start seeing supply crisis. So while we might share in the profits, I would be worried that long term that would be an issue. I think the government is a little bit behind on the private sector when it comes to things like that.
They would just take over the private sector. These same experts in private sector would now work for the government. They wouldn't just get dumber because they started working for the government.
No, but I feel like you would lose incentive. I think the biggest reason that the private sector stays ahead is because it's profit driven. I think that's a huge incentive.
Wait, the people that are running the supply chain are not out here like sharing in profits mostly. These are salaried employees. The people that actually do the work, the people that actually keep this shit moving, these are not like shareholders that are sharing in the company profits. All those people are investors. Everybody making the most money, they don't do a goddamn thing for these oil companies except for cost them more money. They just invest and take from the profits.
No, I would make an argument that the private sector's done really, really well making progress, just because they have that profit incentive. Whereas if we were to, like, let's actually put this on the world stage and let's compare this to something like, I don't know, like Venezuela, right? Venezuela, they did a huge nationalization of a ton of oil, different reserves, drills, wells, a bunch of things. I think it was like the PDVSA. Yeah. Production like plummeted, like literally production tanked. I don't have the numbers on hand. I'm at an Airbnb, but you could pull it.
What else happened during that time?
In 2016?
Well, that's when they started it. When production tanked through 2020. It was like a 3-year stretch, right? I can look at Venezuelan oil production.
I think it was like 2015 to like 2019, if I remember right. I wish I was at home and I was on my computer. I'd pull this up.
I can pull it up here. Let me get it.
But they had, well, the biggest issue that they had inside of Venezuela though is that when you do government run oil industries, they kind of prioritize political goals way more than they tried to prioritize market efficiency. And I think that led to a ton of mismanagement, and that's why we started seeing production plummet. If I remember right, I want to say, if I can give you some rough numbers just off my head here, take it with a grain of salt. I think they went from like 2.5 million barrels per day in like 2015 or 16, all the way down to like maybe it was 900,000 or 1 million by 2019. And that was because you started seeing corruption. You started seeing people not wanting to do maintenance. Mexico had like a ton of inefficiencies and high debt and production declines because they had a bunch of limited autonomy and constraints. You just started seeing a bunch of these things because Venezuela and Mexico at the time were working super heavily together on oil trades.
Mike, I got to tell you, like, you are missing the forest through the trees. During that time, what happened in Venezuela? Now, their oil production had slipped as they nationalized it, but a lot of people slapped sanctions on them because people didn't believe that Maduro was the rightfully elected president. So the United States pressured a bunch of people to slap sanctions on them. Most of those sanctions included no longer buying Venezuelan oil, which Donald Trump did in his presidency. He said, we're not buying it anymore. That was over 50% of their economy. Overnight they lost 50% of their economy. So they were drilling more oil because they were sanctioned, largely from because of pressure from the United States, and largely because the United States, before Maduro, was working out deals with the Venezuelans to get Shell and American oil companies to go in and do the drilling for them. They were trying to work out a partnership. So the oil, ironically, Venezuela's dropping oil, and you can go look this up. Go look at the sanctions that hit them at that time. And I do think this is a weird Republican lie that they tell you that it was socialism and it was due to inefficiency that they lost all this money. But no, it was sanctions. It was 100% sanctions. In fact, we didn't lift those sanctions until later in Biden's presidency, when he basically was convinced that, like, if we didn't start buying their oil, they would never stop coming to our southern border because their country was collapsing. They had no economy. And so they reversed some of those sanctions. But yeah, that's why it's not about regulation or nationalization. It's about sanctions. And the United States does this all over the world. You know this. Every time they don't like what a country's doing with their oil, we just slap them with sanctions. We decimate them. They're doing it in Palestine right now. They're just allowing Israel to decimate them, and we're going to go in and we're going to drill that oil. We do. This is what we do. We're colonialist. We just destroy countries with oil and pretend that it's about, like, socialism.
Well, but hold on. That's not entirely fair to say, right? Because a ton of the revenue from the PDVSA, like a ton of that revenue, were diverted to fund Chavez's social programs. In fact, if I remember right, 40% of all oil income ended up actually being redirected to fund a ton of these things like food subsidies and housing. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't use some of that to do those things. I'm just saying that we've seen a ton of mismanagement with.
Yeah, but then we also stopped buying their oil, and that was 50% of their economy. Yes, those things happened, but the spending wasn't the problem. The problem was they lost half of their revenue.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I got a phone call. Say that again.
The reason, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, this is like, I feel like this is very Republican-y too, that you point to the spending. Yeah, it's true that Maduro spent. And yeah, it's true that he spent on social programs because that's what he campaigned on. But, like, to pretend that it was spending that was the problem and not that they lost 50% of their, like, gross revenue would be silly. Like, of course it wasn't the spending. It was the loss of revenue.
When did the U.S. put sanctions on them, just out of curiosity?
I want to say 2017. It could have been 2018. I think actually there were sanctions on them before Trump entered office. And then I think Trump upped them. Let me see. Sanctions started in 2014 is when they started, right? And you can see that's when we started targeting them, and their oil just crashed.
So the Baker Institute actually has an article about this. U.S. sanctions didn't hit them heavily until 2019. So the Baker Institute. So we had the 2014 sanctions on them, okay, and the private sector was still managing. They were doing, that 2.5 million barrels a day. It wasn't until 2019 when the U.S. actually strengthened those sanctions. Yeah. So we watched a rapid decline, even though the sanctions that we initially imposed on them were the same. Their per day production of oil was actually growing 2014 to 2016, and then it started tanking when they nationalized it. And then we increased sanctions in 2019, but the sanctions from 2014 to 19 were the same. We've seen growth under the private sector, and we've seen a loss of growth under government control.
Yeah, and then they expanded the government control, right? It doesn't benefit. It doesn't benefit the country to have an expansion in the, like, when our oil sector expands and they make more profits and they drill more oil, that doesn't really benefit us that much. Like, rarely do they drill enough that they're going to lower the price of oil. It just means they're making more money. So what you're comparing right now is revenues. That's not what you really should be looking at. You should be looking at the benefit to the people of Venezuela. It's their oil. So what you're showing us is that the private sector was sucking up all of those profits, and they were more efficient at making profits. But they weren't more efficient at taking care of the people. They weren't more efficient at benefiting the people in Venezuela. And so when they nationalized it, they did it for that reason. And that's why we slapped stronger sanctions on them in the Trump administration. You can look this up. We staged a coup. We tried to get rid of Maduro. We flew in we jetted in some private military contractors to try and get rid of him. And then we slapped him with sanctions. And then their entire economy crashed. That's why there's so many Venezuelans at our southern border seeking asylum. That's why Donald Trump on his way out the door, like, 3 days before he left, he signed an executive order that was basically like, yeah, we really fucked up Venezuela. Not like he was admitting their fault, but like, due to our actions, we're going to grant temporary protected status to all these Venezuelans coming to our southern border. Ironically, most of the Venezuelans that came to our southern border during the Biden administration did so using Trump's TPS, like his temporary protected status that he signed on the way out the door. We definitely did this. But I don't think it's a good argument to say, like, well, they were making a lot more money before when it was private. Well, they weren't. A couple people were. The private industry, they were hoarding all that wealth, and I don't care. It doesn't benefit me. If it's our oil, let's all share in the profits.
Well, hold on. I don't think anybody really shared anything. I mean, yeah, they expanded social programs, but 2016 to 2019, their entire economy tanked, and we didn't increase sanctions on them.
We did.
Hold on. But 2014 to 2019, the sanctions were the exact same. We didn't increase any sanctions until 2019. So for 2 years under the private sector, okay, the economy, right, as a whole, was I don't want to say doing amazing, but they were managing,
to correct one
as
thing,
well as oil production.
We started sanctions in 2017. We did sanctions in 2017, 2018, and then they got more significant in 2019. But that entire time, from 2014 up until 2019, we were putting sanctions on Venezuela. And it's true that Venezuela was dealing with like some internal like fighting, but we were putting sanctions on them progressively that entire time.
Yeah, so the Baker Institute is saying that really the only prominent sanctions we did on them oil-wise was in 2019. But let's say for the sake of argument, let's say it was 2017. Why do we still have oil? Like oil production declined heavily in 2016 still.
Why did oil?
I mean, essentially, they did what you said. You know, they just kind of took over the private sector. They had all the infrastructure there. They had a bunch of things going on, and we've seen oil production absolutely tank. And we already started seeing a lot of those funds diverted. Chavez started actually taking a lot of the revenue, and he started diverting it into other funds.
No. The private sector refused to go along with it, and they were being backed by countries like the United States of America to not go along, to make this as difficult as possible. This is what we do. This is how we intervene in other countries. We do this every time. We take a faction of their government and we say, we're going to support you. You're with us. And they see the United States. They see that money. Maybe they're just fans of free market capitalism. But that was the whole, like, we funded the opposition to this. We purposely made sure that it was as difficult as possible for Maduro to nationalize this oil while we slapped sanctions. I'm not saying it's entirely the United States' fault, but like, you can't show me a single country that that we've ever been involved with that tried to nationalize oil that somehow all of a sudden we weren't like interfering militarily. We're interfering militarily right now. We probably committed war crimes shooting down that ship. We're in international waters. We shot down a boat that they said was full of drugs based on that they had listened to a call that apparently the speedboat was going to drive all the way to America, and we killed them. We're doing it right now, and we're doing it. We're letting Israel do it for us in Palestine. This is what we do.
So really quickly, but I will address another country actually because you just asked me to. But really quickly, let's just say for the sake of argument, let's say we did increase sanctions in 2017, right? Explain to me why GDP growth was literally it was negative 16.5%. Like they literally had a full-blown recession by the end of 2016, even though they nationalized oil, which doesn't make sense because GDP should have went up because they started funding more social programs and government spending helps make up GDP. They had monthly inflation by October hit 50%. They literally started hyperinflation from the time they took over the oil industry to that. I mean, we can see, 2016, they did 2.3 million barrels per day. By 2017, they only did 1.9. So in a year, they literally lost, what is that, 400,000 barrels per day worth of production. Employment hit the roof. Just looking at that 1 year time frame where no sanctions were raised, everything went to shit, even though they started funding way more social programs and they started sucking up a lot of this revenue and trying to give it back to the people.
And what else did they do? What else could have led to hyperinflation? I mean, what leads to hyperinflation?
I would make an argument that part of that would be them screwing over their energy sector.
But like, as a libertarian, what do you guys all say causes inflation?
Government spending.
Printing more money, right?
Yeah, but if they increased revenue,
you should go look at the what Venezuela did, and this is someplace where Maduro really fucked up. But what they saw the value of their money dropping, and it just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. And because they were sanctioned and nobody wanted their money, they had hyperinflation. They just started printing more and more money. I was listening. I think it was More Perfect Union. They did a whole breakdown on this, but they were interviewing these people, and they were saying like it was crazy. I think the lady said like I had like 1 million of whatever their currency was, and like 3 years earlier, 1 million of that had been something like $30. Like they had like insane hyperinflation to the point where basically nobody in Venezuela would even use their own currency. They started relying on the dollar, and the U.S. actually helped them. We actually sent in U.S. dollars, and that became like the accepted currency in Venezuela. So yes, they spent on social programs. Yes, it was a struggle to nationalize oil, in part because it was new and they didn't necessarily know what they're doing, in part because of American sanctions, in part because of other countries sanctioning them, in part because we bought less oil, and in part because of hyperinflation, because they didn't manage their monetary policy very well. But again, like none of these are an argument against nationalizing oil by itself. There's so many other conditions here that happened in Venezuela. You mentioned Saudi Arabia, like what did Saudi Arabia do? They've created like gold cities, and they've hoarded the wealth, and that's a thing that you have to be afraid of if you nationalize wealth like that. But it seems like Republicans are on board with that. They're doing it with Intel already. They're talking about a cryptocurrency exchange. So yeah, you have to be careful about this, but there's lots of places that have nationalized their minerals or their deposits, and they're handling it very, very well.
So well, hold on. I'm still a little bit lost here. Like it doesn't matter where I go. The Baker Institute's done an entire article on it. The Hoover Institute has done an entire article on it. The Chicago School has done an entire article on it. Like even people who believe in central planning said that this failed because they couldn't manage it right. That they got in, people got greedy, and people started like abusing the system instead of trying to help the citizens and return this common wealth to them.
Well,
I mean, if you want to look at a different country, we can look at like Mexico.
Wait, hold on.
Mexico did a poor job with it too.
Are you saying that all of these things that you're reading, though, that they're concluding that the only reason we saw, or the most prominent reason that we saw the collapse of the Venezuelan economy was because they spent too much on social programs?
The biggest reason that I'm seeing is literally going to be declining oil production. It would be by the way, higher.
Let's stay on oil production, which we recognize that the people that had been producing the oil refused to work with the Venezuelan government. In like they literally had battles about like, can you access this land that they believed they were entitled to? The government did. They actually had like real battles down there. So you understand, like on top of this, it wasn't a smooth transition. It wasn't like they're like, we're nationalizing it and all the people in oil just went along. They were backed by the U.S. government. They tried to make it as difficult as possible. So we can't just say like that's a failure of the state. The state didn't run it properly. There was an actual like fight there.
Anybody in queue on your end?
Look. No.
So I'm a little lost here. The fight didn't happen, at least to the best of my knowledge. We didn't see any fighting in like 2014, 2016. I couldn't give you the exact year, but I'm pretty sure it would have been fucking like maybe 98, 99 when they first tried to do it. They didn't have like crazy public pushback in like the 2016 time period.
I think Maduro was elected in 2013, and then in he was elected in 2013, and then 2018.
Yeah. But where was like this? Like you said that they were having like battles and like fights down there. I don't think that happened in 2016.
I mean,
I don't think that was the thing.
No, I mean like a battle between the private. I didn't mean like an actual like war battle. I mean like private industry was refusing to work with them. They were claiming that he was not a legitimate president. They in many instances they were just trying to like continue operations. They just didn't they weren't willingly giving up these resources, and they weren't saying like, oh, we're going to take our existing infrastructure and roll it into the government, because they all believed, and probably rightfully, that they were going to get power back and they were not going to nationalize the oil. So they're trying to undo this. That's what they're fighting about right now.
Yeah, but do you know? So when they actually okay, I know what you're talking about. That was an actual formulation of the people, though, because of the economic fallout due to nationalization. That's what they were protesting. They said our country's going to shit because you're nationalizing everything.
They said
you're not actually spreading the wealth.
Yeah, they said that, but I think they're wrong. I don't think that that's why the country went to shit. And just like in this country, people say that like our country went to shit and we had inflation because of Joe Biden. They're wrong. It was not nationalization itself that like just drove the economy into the ground. You can go look at all the economic influences on why they went bankrupt, and it's not like, yes, it's spending. It's always spending. There's always going to be an element of spending, and I don't know what percentage it would be, but like you think spending would have more to do with them literally losing 1/2 of their economy?
Actually, yeah. I would make an argument that nationalization is what caused them to have economic fallouts, which is why the people down there, that was the message that they were protesting, is that Venezuela's nationalization of the private sector is literally what was unaliving their economy.
Yeah, but it's just not true though. Like what really tanked their economy? People stopped buying oil from them. So they're saying that they nationalized the oil and that stopped people. And I understand from a Venezuelan, you're saying, all right, President, we have to sell oil and these guys won't buy oil from us if it's nationalized. They'll only buy it if it's drilled privately. I agree with you, but again, it was because we stopped buying their oil. Right? If we kept buying their oil, would they have had the same kind of crash?
I believe they, maybe, I don't know, actually. Probably. I mean, they were nationalizing a bunch of stuff at that time too. Like the pushback started before they made a big push for nationalizing oil. Like this started in what, like 2013, 2014 is when the citizens started like rioting against the government.
Well, some of them, they had been rioting beforehand too. Like that's the thing. Like it seems like we are only talking about the right wing, the big government or the big business interests, which is the right in Venezuela too. These are just like your oil tycoon Republicans. They're the ones in Venezuela who are like, we're upset. And the Republicans the people that are upset with them are just like the Republicans here. They're a bunch of poor people who think that these rich people are going to share the wealth with them. So they look at the state of their country and they hate it. And they say we should go back to the way things were because it was better before. It's exactly like Trump. But they don't know why things were better before. And I think that's the point. They have to understand that there's a lot of reasons why things were the way they were before, but none of their problems are going to be fixed by saying, okay, oil companies, you can drill. Like they're heavily in debt. Their currency isn't worth dick. They're sanctioned everywhere. They've lost hundreds of thousands of people. How is that going to be solved by giving the oil back to the oil companies? What are they going to do? They're going to use all those profits
but you
and pump
keep
it back
attributing
in?
that to oil. Yeah, but hold on. You keep attributing that to oil. Like you're not even talking about the fact that they started doing price controls, wage controls. I believe they did. They called it like foreign exchange controls, if I remember right. It was just they did like weird exchange rates that like favored people who were like inside the scoop. They literally distorted their own economy. They completely discouraged production, if I remember right. And I'm pretty sure Maduro literally had shortages of like apples and fish and like just basic goods. Like producers couldn't cover the cost. And if I remember right, the poverty rate literally jumped to like 73% between like 2013 and 2015. That's insane. Like that's not all just oil. Like those are actual problems because they were nationalizing and engaging in price controls and trying to direct the market.
Mike, you're just saying two things that happened, but you're not connecting them. Can you explain to me how price controls would decimate their economy? How did that happen?
Yeah, so when they started doing price controls and the foreign exchange controls and wage controls, they literally discouraged production. My evidence to that is 90 days after.
How does that work?
So when you start doing price controls, right, and you start saying, hey, listen, you now have to sell this product for cheaper, that causes an issue because I still have overhead that I have to cover. So you're reducing my profit margin or you're taking my profit margin completely away. Right. And so what happened was, and actually there was I wish I was at my computer. I could give you 2 or 3 companies that came out and did newsletters about it. There were major corporations that came out and said that they actually were capped so hard that they couldn't even cover their overhead or their costs. They started seeing rapid inflation. They started laying people off and trying to reduce overhead.
Mike, do you recognize that what you're telling me right now is a lot of stories that you've read? But what I'm trying to get you to explain, like, just mathematically how this all works out. The only way you and I can know what caused this problem in Venezuela, because we can sit here and we can tell stories all day long. But like, I would need to see an impact study, and not just like a bunch of people like said this. By the way, like the Baker Institute, I don't know that that's a great source, but that's just somebody saying like this is what happened. I'm looking through these articles; they're not providing data. This looks like just a bunch of fucking capitalists talking about like capitalist theory. I'm not seeing any solid data here. And you're not giving me any.
Hold on, Mike. Just because there was a question that in the comments that I found very interesting. Mike, Heather Cornett says, "How is Alaska seem to make it then as they have oil pay out to citizens?" And I think that's a very good question.
How does Alaska seem to make it? I'll be honest with you. I had no idea that they do oil payout to citizens. I wouldn't even, I could speculate, but I probably shouldn't. I have no idea.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Well, here, RTP, let's go down this line of thinking, right? If you cap my price to the point to where I can't even cover my overhead, can I stay in business?
It depends. Like you're not even citing something that had its price capped that was effective. If you said they priced if they put a price cap on bananas and there's like one banana farmer, then I don't know. Like there's no way for me to analyze anything that you're saying because you're just generically giving me like if we put price caps on things and you couldn't cover your expenses because the price was too low, would that destroy the economy? Yes, but what I'm asking is, did that happen? Do you have evidence that happened? And if it did happen, what was the actual impact? Like, do we know if it had the impact you're saying? Because like I'm looking at the stuff that I know, and I'm not an expert on Venezuela, but like if you take somebody's GDP and you cut it in half, I don't think that anything that you've brought up so far is coming anywhere close to like cutting somebody's GDP in half. I don't think spending necessarily does it. Like you said, that would increase your GDP. And I don't think price controls are going to be responsible for that. I think the fact that their biggest purchasers of oil, all under threat from the United States, stopped buying oil from them. And then you get a bunch of these right-wing think tanks that come out and they're like, see, socialism doesn't work. Why are who funds all these right-wing think tanks? It's oil companies. Who do you think funds the Baker Institute? I'm going to guess that when I look just based on their energy policies, this looks like a very pro-oil organization. Right? Like it's always a story, but let's look at the data. I just don't think that you're providing anything that says like cutting half of their income wasn't the main cause of the collapse.
Well, hold on. Follow me here, right? Just a couple. Let's get the basics of the economics down. I'll give you a couple specific examples, and I'll tie it in. Can we at least agree that if you cap my prices, if you cap what my profit margins are, okay, it will either reduce my ability to grow as fast, or it might even force me to actually reduce on my overhead and my overall cost to produce. Can we agree there?
No, I think you're I think there's a third option. The third option is you just make less money, but nothing changed. Like your production was the same. It could have even gone up. Maybe if you to make less money, you can make production go faster. I don't think that there's only two options there. I think that most of the time when we talk about this, like these people are all operating in good faith, but like these oil CEOs, they're making $300 million a year. So like, yeah, were they effective with their money, or did they give $300 million to one fucking guy? I know that they're not effective. Like they gave one guy $300 million that basically didn't do shit.
But they were affected. Kimberly-Clark, which is a multinational personal care company, they literally shut down all their Venezuelan operations in 2016. Like their actual like specific citing for why they shut it down is they had shortages of raw materials because there were a ton of price controls going on, and they actually couldn't get any sort of supplier to be able to feed them quick enough.
You're telling me another story.
That's what they said. They said, listen,
I know.
Price caps came in. Our vendors are literally telling us that they can't afford to be able to produce at the same rate that they need to. They had to cut back on employees. And now we can't afford to stay in business because we actually can't funnel our operations with proper amounts of material.
And I'm saying you haven't, like, the fact that is where you're at. You haven't gone far enough to know if, like, you can't confirm that was a cause. You just know that that's a story that somebody told, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like you're blindly defending this. Neither you nor I know enough about Venezuela to definitively say like this was the problem. I think it's hard to even either of us say like what the impact was. But it is hard. Like I'm telling you that we stopped buying half of their oil, and every other country that boycotted them did so at the request of the United States, and they lost somewhere around like 70% of their economy. And so, in order for the stories that you're telling me to be more impactful to me, you've got to attach that to a number. I'm going to have to see like that. There's all these industries that we're all losing money. And then you could draw that correlation. But right now you're taking an ideology and saying, here's the ideology, here's a singular story, therefore this proves it. But we could probably find that data. I'm just saying that right now the only data we really know is that like nobody bought their oil anymore, and that was like 80% of their economy. You're fucked.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. I'm a little lost here, right? So I could probably name off 5 of the biggest corporations, like huge corporations, like Kimberly-Clark, Clorox, Nestle's another one. They had their biggest meat manufacturer shut down and their biggest dairy farm shut down. Those are huge industries, and they all shut down. And they said, listen, because of the price caps, we can't afford overhead anymore, so we're ceasing operation. Like, you're asking me to tie a number to it when I'm saying that the biggest producers in meat stopped producing meat there and milk. That's going to cause issues economically speaking.
Sure, but also like again, they're saying it can't be efficient for us anymore. Did they consider cutting their profits? Did they consider cutting their CEO pay? Why are they there? Why are they there in the first place? Because they're taking advantage of cheap labor. Again, like you're talking about, you're siding with the corporations here. You're saying these poor corporations said they can't operate effectively there anymore because it doesn't fit their profit margins. Therefore, they are a failed country. And it sounds an awful lot to me like these corporations were taking advantage of Venezuela. And why the fuck do I care if these massive corporations have to shut down operations? I think that it's likely you can do it cheaper for the people that are living there in Venezuela already. They can own their own business.
Hold on. I feel like that's just a tiny bit off topic though, because now you're getting into the idea of, well, I mean, these guys are greedy. They could have cut back on profit margins. They could have taken a pay cut, and they didn't, and they could have kept operations going there. What's the incentive to stay somewhere and continue business if you're not making money? I don't think that's realistic to say. I don't think that me or you would do TikTok as much as we did if we didn't get some sort of incentive, whether it be recognition or whether it be a couple coins. We wouldn't spend as much time on this app as we do.
Because
you can't expect people to stay somewhere where they're not making money and keep forking it out to keep a failing corporation in a miserable country alive.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is that 80% of their economy is oil. So when you're talking about meat, which at the most, if it was the other 20% of the economy, at most it would be 20%. It's probably like in the single digit percentages. You're talking about everything but oil. Oil is 80% of their economy. You're talking about them like not being able to, them not employing people anymore, and them not being able to produce down there, and you're totally ignoring that 80% of their economy is oil, and they lost half of that to the United States alone. I think they lost 60 to 70% of buyers in total. So I'm looking at the biggest number, and the biggest number was the one that was boycotted by the United States and sanctioned by the United States, and it seems like you want to talk about everything but that. Like, even if everything you were saying was true and that Maduro fucked up there, at most it's 20% of their economy. This other 80% is far more impactful.
Wait, hold on. Where are you getting 80% from? I'm lost because I would make the argument. I would make the argument that meat and milk, diapers, medications. I would make the argument that probably alone makes up 40% of the economy. Well, we've seen the biggest corporations over there that are involved in those industries literally just shut down.
Oil makes up it's gone down now, obviously, but before the sanctions, oil made up 80% of the country's export revenue.
Wait, hold on. I'm a little lost, right? It made up 80% of the private sector's export revenue, or it made up 80% of government?
Venezuela's export revenue.
Right, but what year was that? Was that after they nationalized it? So it was government revenue, not personal revenue?
This is from, where's the 80% at? Let me pull this chart. Sorry, I clicked on a link. Let me pull up the article, see if they have it highlighted where it was.
Can I make an announcement that's not going to be very popular, Jay?
Yeah.
I'm bored as fuck, bro. You guys are boring the fuck out
Well,
of me.
what do you want me to do? There's nobody in the guest box. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, no, but how about you guys talk about something different? This shit is boring as hell. Mike, I love you, bro, but this shit is boring the fuck out of me. Excuse my language. I can't even eat my food.
Well,
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with moving on. RTP, do you want to make a closing argument? I know I'd like to.
go ahead. Yeah. So just to say, so it was 80% of total exports. So that would have been both private and public, and that period was from 2016 to 2014. And then, like I said, once the sanctions hit in, after that, we saw the oil production drop.
Yeah, so from what I'm seeing here, this was 2017. This is 2017 when a lot of people stopped buying from it. By that point, most of the oil industry was nationalized. So it's not like people or businesses were losing money. It was the government losing money. And the government losing money shouldn't realistically affect the businesses. What affect the other businesses is the government was losing money, they continue.
Mike, they employed all these people. They were the employer. It wasn't the government losing money. They were the employer. It was 80% of their exports. So they employed all of these people in the oil industry. So people didn't have jobs anymore because they weren't making enough oil, and so everybody was jobless, and they were struggling for food. That's why they all came to America, because the government was the employer. So by sanctioning them and stopping and not buying their oil anymore, these were government employees that were laid off and no longer had any prospects for a job.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying though is that when you're saying they lost 80% of their economy, right? That 80% wasn't going to the private sector anyways. That was mostly going to the government. So why did the private sector struggle if the government lost money? Well, the private sector struggled because the government needed to recoup the money they were losing, so they installed price caps, which drove businesses out. But that would just be my final statement.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would like to ask you before you go, Mike. I've been meaning to ask you this last time you were up here, and you know, if you don't want to answer, that's cool. So I was asked this question a lot of times, man, and I can't answer it. I really can't. So what do you say to the people that you know told us what was going to happen? And I mean, people on the left that told us exactly what was going to happen, and now you and I are realizing that they were correct. I mean, what do you say to the people that say, "Hey, listen, we told you so"? How would you answer that?
I guess you'd have to be specific in what you mean when they say that, because I don't think anybody said Trump's going to put Humvees on U.S. streets. Nobody told me that.
Well, but VP Harris did. She specifically said that he was going to come after the citizens and all of that, and she specifically said that.
I don't remember that. To be honest with you,
I'll send you the. I have it duetted on my page. I duetted it.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll look it over. But I guess the parts, because there were some times where people said this is going to happen, and I said, no, it's not, and it did. Listen, man, I don't feel bad for voting for Trump. I don't. I think that's a weird argument to make when people come in and they're like, well, do you feel like shit that you voted that way? Well, no. I mean, listen, I'm an American like the rest of you guys, and I was just voting in what I thought would be best for the country. Obviously, I think, unfortunately, I think I voted for the wrong guy. I probably would have voted for Chase Oliver instead. But I'm not going to apologize for doing what at the time I thought was best, because I felt like Trump did good in his first term. I was hoping to get the same out of the second, and I'm not gonna come on and apologize. Now, I will say I'm sorry that this is happening.
Wait, why would you not
Out.
Apologize?
What do you want me to say? Hey, at the time I was involved in economics. I was doing a lot of research. I was looking over Trump's first term. Things were way different his first term than they were this term. And he wasn't some crazy dictator back then. So I voted with the guy who I had a feeling that I kind of knew what I was going to get.
Yeah, but
I don't think that's an unreasonable stance.
But you were wrong, right?
Yeah, but
so
the RTP. That's like if you asked me to run 5 miles and I only ran 3, and you want me to apologize for doing my best.
No, I'm not asking you to apologize. Like I don't understand where this fear of apology comes from. If you're just saying that you were wrong. Like, you're admitting you're wrong, but you're saying, like, I'm not sorry. Why not say sorry? Well, I don't know why we're so afraid to say that all the time. Like, if you're wrong, just say sorry. That's a weird thing, right? Like, I'm sorry that I defended Joe Biden like I did. I'm sorry that I supported a lot of people like I did. I'm sorry that I supported Hakeem Jeffries. I'm sorry that I wasn't louder about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Like, is that we've got to be able to start apologizing for stuff. Like, it doesn't mean that everybody makes mistakes, but we live in a world where like everybody's afraid to admit like, oh, I fucked up or I was wrong about something. Not to be critical, I don't think you're on you. I think that that's normal in debate politics, and I do think you're good faith. And so I don't mean to like shit on you or make it seem like you're not. But
yeah, but you want me to apologize for doing the best I could with good intentions? I don't think that's fair. I wouldn't ask somebody, if somebody brought me groceries to my house or something, I wouldn't expect them to apologize if they didn't get the 2% milk when I'm a whole milk fan. I wouldn't expect that. I mean, listen, for me, it's about good intentions and stuff. I really thought I was doing what was best for the country. And I will say this: I'm sorry we're all in this together. I'm sorry it's turned out this way. But I mean, I did my best I could at the time I had with the information I had. I can't apologize or go back and change my decision. I did what I thought was right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think that like the best way that you could prove to somebody that you have good intentions is to even say like, hey, I didn't mean to do that, but I fucked up. I'm sorry. I think that like proves that you had good intentions. The fact that you're willing to do that. Again, it's nitpicky. I don't mean to like be a fuck. I kind of feel like I'm being a dick right now. And I don't.
No, you're good. You're good. Here. I'll give you common ground. I am sorry that I convinced people to vote for him. I will say that. I am sorry that I went on plenty of panels that I convinced people to vote for him. I can't say I'm sorry for me because I was just doing what I thought was the best. But I do feel like shit. If I convinced somebody somewhere along the lines to vote for this guy, I am sorry. You should have stayed home that day.
That's fair.
You have any?
Well, I'm gonna jet.
Good talking to you, man.
I do appreciate it. Hey, it was good seeing you. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Admir.
Stay safe, bro, as always.
Bye.
So I saw somebody.
Is there somebody on your side, Jay? Because that one guy that's in the comment section, I'm trying to remember his name. He popped up and then he popped back out. But he's been in the comment section.
Yeah,
thumbing down there.
I saw that. I don't know. He keeps asking me why the chat is getting dog walked. I don't know, chat, but you should
Stop
be real
looking
sorry.
up Ryan. His name.
He said dog walk the chat.
No, he's not in the comments anymore because I took away his First Amendment right in our comments. Because he was crying a lot. So if he has something to say, he needs to go.
There we go.
I'm dictator as shit. So.
All right, there you go. He's up here.
I did ask that. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh.
Good.
I'm leaving.
So I was just curious because obviously, like, most of your chat couldn't tell me one way or another. But like, I know earlier you were trying to say Trump wasn't actually like you didn't think Trump was involved in the Epstein files, and nothing actually points to him at this current state or any evidence currently. But
well, I think he's in them.
What are your thoughts on this?
I think he's definitely, his name's going to be in there, but we actually know, they've confirmed that his name's in there a bunch of times. But what I said is like, I don't know that we haven't seen him, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there's definitely something in there that makes him look bad. But I think that there's been Democrats and Republicans who both have kind of said like, there's not been a government official that's been fingered, I guess is the right word. It's the right way to use it right now. So yeah, I don't think anybody's accusing him so far.
That's good listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Half of your comment section was always talking about like, oh, he's on the list, and I keep trying to ask him for sources. So then they muted me because they didn't want to keep getting dog walked because there's no sources yet today, at least like currently. Sure. So like that's why I guess I had to join because I got muted for the entire live since you guys didn't want to hear the truth. So like I'm just trying to bring this out. Like so for you currently today, there's no actual.
Hold on, no clarification. You had a lot.
Here we go.
It's coming.
No, I'm telling you why you got muted.
I'm just saying you muted. Was it you that muted me? I'm sorry.
It was me.
Yeah, hold on. Let's let each other talk.
Yeah. No, it was me. So I muted you because you've been chirping so fucking hard in the comments. I invited you a couple times. So I said if you wanted to talk, if you had something to say, you needed to use it with your big boy words, with your voice. So that's why.
Yeah, which is fine, and I got that. But like, typically I stay in most of the comments. And
sure.
You want to mute me, which is fine, but there's zero evidence, so you want to mute me for the truth. So I understand that, Jen. So it's fine.
Well,
Just
what it
keep
is
muting me
is
and
you're
keep
debating
suppressing
the
truth
comments,
like it
and
is.
you're calling out the host, and this is go
I
up
am.
here.
I'm telling
Come
him
on.
he doesn't want to hear the truth either. Like,
No,
there's
I want to hear
he's
it.
already made that statement. RTP,
I wanna
Jay has
hear it.
already made the statement. There is zero evidence towards Trump, and including the press conference today,
Well,
from today,
can we correct
none
what
of them has actually commented on Trump doing anything wrong, at least. Not yet,
Yeah.
at least, right? Not yet.
So can I?
And nobody wants to believe that. And
Wait, but hold
I'm
on.
sorry, but half your comments are wrong.
Hold on, though. But I can't speak for the comments. But I will say this: I do think that this is. I think it's bizarre that this is the conversation that we're having. Like, I don't know why.
I agree.
I don't know why the conversation isn't exclusively why is Donald Trump not releasing these files? This is the fairest question.
I agree with that.
Why do you think he's not?
I honestly, I think the same way you do. I think he's trying to protect a lot of people he knows outside of himself, because he's already, even the lawyer from the victims have already stated, like, he's helped, like, prosecute, like, Epstein at this point. So, like, most of, like, the thought process should be gone, but there still is some, like, potential of him being in those files. But until that comes out, like, why are we still, like, trying to prosecute a guy that literally has nothing to do with any of this at all?
Well,
so far today.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I think that's where people are stuck. Because if he has nothing to hide, what's he doing?
I think he's trying to protect his powerful friends, man. Honestly, like that's what it is.
So let's talk about that. Let's just
Powerful is trying to protect powerful. Like that's like let's be honest about it.
Okay, so then doesn't that kind of like the thing I think for a lot of us is that seems to undo the things that the very like foundations of MAGA, that it's America first, that they're going to put you guys first, it's middle class, that they're there to tear down the deep state, that they're there to drain the swamp, and they're clearly the exact opposite. So I think a lot of us are just confused. Like I thought today would be a bigger day. I thought a lot more people, after seeing what I saw this morning, I thought a lot more people would be like, shit, this guy is not who I think he was. I can't imagine any scenario where any other politician that's ever lived in this country would be able to get away with this from their constituency. I don't think you'd show any evidence that Republicans in the past or Democrats in the past would have ever stood up for this. Like we ran out Nixon, we ran out. I mean, Clinton was impeached. We run people out for this. This is not America, and it is breathtaking to a lot of us to watch people treat Donald Trump with kid gloves right now.
Yeah, but honestly, like after like the whole spectacle across the entire left, I would have thought like names would have been dropped today the way they kept portraying this.
Wait, no,
from today.
No, please, you got to stay on subject right now because now you're trying to deflect to the left.
What do you mean that is?
I don't get why you guys are talking about the left right now. They're not the ones that are withholding the list. Trump is. Why are you worried about the left?
The left has been holding it for the last 4 years, and it's been unredacted since 2024. Let's just be honest about this. The left has been holding it since 2024 and has done nothing with it. There's been zero prosecution since 2021, since actually Biden came into office. And then again, there has been nothing that has continued since Trump has been in office. Let's just be honest about it. So neither side is doing shit.
No, one side is right now.
No, there is.
Wait, hold on.
No, one is withholding it. You're right on that. But zero side is actually prosecuting anybody.
I'm going to need you to let me finish. I know, like, one side right now, you're right. Nobody did anything about it before, both the right and the left. So they are equally at fault up until this point. But at this point, the Democrats, whether you hate them, love them, doesn't matter. They are demanding the release. They are supporting the release. There are a handful of Republicans also supporting it. And the Republicans supporting it are being threatened by the president. So I don't know why, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why are you pointing at the left when the left and the right were equally culpable this entire time? But today, but today that changed. Today you can no longer say that they are equally culpable. One side now is culpable from withholding it. One side is refusing to let it go and the other isn't. So today is the day that changed. So why haven't you changed? Why are you still focused on the left?
I want it released.
So, but
I don't know why you're asking about me. I actually want it released just like you. The problem is you keep trying to push off, and you didn't. You already acknowledged you didn't care about this before up to like a month ago.
Hold on. I'm asking you why you are focused on the left, because everything you've said so far is about the left. And if you respond, if I ask you why you're focused on the left and you start talking about the left again, it's kind of proving my point. Why are you talking about the left on the day that finally someone's doing the right thing? It happens to be the left. Do you think that maybe it's possible that you are so you are so partisan at this point that even when it is painfully obvious that only one side is doing the right thing, that you can't side with the side that's doing the right thing for one day?
Do you think all 208 Democrats are ready to sign off on the release of the files?
Listen, one thing we don't do here is answer questions with questions. I need you to answer the questions.
I'm just asking.
I know you're asking. That's why I knew it was a question. What you do when I ask a question is answer the question and then ask a question. So I'm going to.
But you only need a couple people from the Republican side to sign off. We already have a few, right?
Please, sir. Please answer my question and then you can ask yours. Is that a fair way to operate?
Okay, please re-ask that again.
Great.
At this point.
So on the day now, when it's very clear that there is one side doing the right thing and one side not, and we both agree that neither side has done the right thing up until today, why is it on the day that one side is doing the right thing, I can't, like, you're focusing, in your conversation with me, you're focusing the attention on the left? Why do you think that you're not focusing the attention on the right?
Okay, can I ask? I do got to ask one question. Which side do you think is doing the right thing?
Can you? Oh, clearly the Democrats.
I mean, if that's the actual true case, then I don't know why the Republicans aren't already doing this.
But I'm asking you why you're focused on the left. You're not.
I just answered it.
No, you didn't.
If all of the Democrats are sitting there holding the line, saying release all the files at this point, then the Republicans need to.
Wait.
Point blank. Nothing else.
So we know for sure, and I don't know what the number is.
You have all 208 Democrats like everybody wants to talk about.
Please stop interrupting. I promise I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
We know for sure that like 130 to 150-ish Democrats are on the record saying
130 to 150. Okay.
I don't know what it is currently, but somewhere around there that have actually signed the discharge petition. We know that not a single other Democrat has said that they won't sign it. And that's the people that have signed it. They're good. I like them. The people who haven't signed it yet, they're iffy for me. And I'm cool withholding judgment. I'm cool with even saying like, why haven't you signed it yet? But there is a difference between people who have not signed it yet and people who are saying, not only am I not going to sign it, but if you sign it, this is a hostile act. So there are levels to this, and the worst of the worst right now, the people causing all of the problems are the Republicans.
I think more so the MAGA, more so than anything else. But yeah, I agree with that.
So that's why I'm just asking, like, why do you think today you keep wanting to talk about the left?
But you continue to keep saying there's only, I'm sorry, not you specifically.
Please answer the
you
questions.
said a handful of people.
Please answer the questions you're asked and then go and then move on. Don't just ignore. Why do you think today you are focused on the left?
I'm not, but you continue to say, the left continues to say there's only like 6 people that need to sign this from the Republican side to like end this whole thing. And it's not, it's more than 6, right? Because it's.
Bye.
Oh, do you
all right.
Galaxy?
Yes. Who was it? Nikki. Fuck's sake. All right.
W Nikki in the comments. Let's go. Holy. What's up, Texas? Long time no talk, man. It's been what? 24 hours?
How's it going?
You've been on these panels before, right?
Yeah, you don't have to explain it to me.
Oh, okay,
Hi,
fair enough.
RTP.
Then
Texas Mickey.
Nice to meet you. I don't know if we've met before. I'm bad with names. Sorry.
He's usually up.
No, we haven't.
Okay, cool. Well, then, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and offer you a different viewpoint.
Okay.
With your question that you've asked everybody. I think the reason they're not releasing it, partially, not fully, partially. The government does withhold information that could be dangerous to, society as a whole. So, in my thinking, I'm wondering if, how the public likes to react to severe information and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if they're worried if names come out, if it's going to cause mass chaos.
Well, why wouldn't they just say that? Why would Trump be like, this is a hoax and nobody should care about it? Why wouldn't he just say, like, he did it with COVID? He's like, I don't want to, I didn't want to tell everybody because it would cause chaos. Why go through this whole, like, why lie to people? Why tell them? Why mock everybody who believes that we should hear from these victims? Why call it a hoax?
Right. And that part, I'm not even going to try to defend. No, you're right there. Yeah, it's really weird to sit there and be like, yeah, we have a list. And then all of a sudden it's like, just kidding. There's no list.
Yeah.
But I'm a little behind because ever since I started my new job 3 months ago, I've been working sevens. So I'm a little behind on current events.
Well, this all happened today, so I don't blame you. The lot happened in one day.
Yeah.
All right. Anything
Fucking
else
awkward.
Do you want
God
to
damn.
pick another topic?
I just wanted to offer you a different perspective because every single person you brought up is like saying the same exact thing, and I hate hearing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I appreciate people trying to think about it differently. I think if you voted for Trump, I don't blame you for thinking about it differently. But I think it's pretty clear that, like, he wants it to go away. He's literally calling the whole thing fake. I think the longer he does this and the longer the MAGA's forced to defend it, I think the worse it's going to be for him. So we'll see.
Got you. All right, I'll make room for somebody else.
All right, brother. Good meeting you.
Appreciate you.
So we've got, I'm pretty sure you see a serial in request. It's Ty. He's been waiting for a long time. I don't think you'll have a whole lot of patience for him, Jay, but he's been wanting to come. He's turned over a new leaf. I think he's a communist now.
All right.
So,
the chat has veto ability with.
I mean, so
we'll
there is. Well, hold on, wrong one. Myers is not the one. Jay has to let a serial.
Oh, let me do that. Sorry, M. Myers.
Cereal?
Back in a minute. I got it. You can't see it because it's private.
Yeah. So Myers, hop back and request. I don't expect this to take long. So.
Like that.
I wanted to remind everybody, Galaxy drops the guests. So.
What's up, Ty?
Hi, how's your day going?
Good, man. How's yours?
It could be better.
Oh, shit.
That was fast. Sorry, buddy.
Hi.
All right. Myers.
Oh, Ash, win Ash. That was.
Listen, he has a history with my audience. He's not. It's not.
He's not
everybody's
well-liked.
favorite person. So I apologize, Ty. Well, someday
I
we'll
have said
talk.
some pretty gross shit before, so it's not. I wasn't surprised. All right, I'll be done.
What's up, Myers?
That was quick.
Yeah, Admir, do your
That
thing.
was very quick.
Yeah, Myers. I feel like I've spoken to you before, but if we haven't, man, welcome. I appreciate you coming up. I'm sure you've heard how this works. Is there anything on your mind, man, that you wanted to talk to RTP?
Yeah, we hate on RTP. That's how this goes, right? Everybody just screams and yells at RTP, calls him an idiot, and then he tells them they're full of shit, and then you throw a Galaxy and get kicked out. No, I think.
Okay. I mean,
Sometimes it does go that way. If we're being honest, like
Yeah.
it's not unfair.
Hell, Cyril didn't even get a word out, I don't think.
Yeah, he's got a tough history. He's going to have a hard time getting words out. This chat will deal with him.
Well, I think when Trump said about the hoax, I think he was talking about that he was part of the big theory that he was just, in the group with the kids and on the island and stuff like that. That's how I took it when he said that.
So then why wouldn't he release it if that's what he meant?
Well, I think he should. I think he should release them. I think they should all release them. I think they should. And the only reason, there's two reasons I think they may not be releasing them. And the first reason would be that they're still trying to investigate and they want to make arrests and they want to do it privately and just go get arrests. That's one reason. The second reason I think is if it's true that Epstein was a CIA operative that everybody's talking about and he was working for three sides of different governments, and I heard that his plane had been tapped, supposedly, and they have all these conversations or all these other people that were at the island, that there's more to it than just our American politicians.
Okay, so
is that a conspiracy?
Well,
Probably.
I think the problem that I think the hard part you'd have explaining that is that these people in the oversight committee, they've seen the documents, and everybody, even the ones that aren't signing the discharge petition, said this needs to get out. It's failed. We're going to get this out. They've all said that it's not those things. And Trump hasn't said that the reason I'm not putting this out is because there's an open. You could just say that. I don't know why they would say like there's. They wouldn't be able to say like we can't put this out because there's an ongoing investigation. That's what they say when they can't put something out. And then you would probably have Democrats at the Oversight Committee and Republicans both say, look, we've seen this information. There's ongoing investigations. We don't want to jeopardize this. The victims would then probably also be like, you know what, this is great. We're going to take down some people. The victims are literally saying, you won't talk to us. You won't investigate these crimes. We're begging you to do it. Nobody ever talks to us. Nobody has heard from you guys in years. We've been sitting around with no help at all. So they're now forcing it. They're like, if you're not going to release it, we are. And so I don't think that that's going to hold much validity because Republicans and Democrats coming out of the Oversight Committee have basically both said that this needs to be public.
Have they seen all the information completely? Because isn't some of the records still sealed?
They've seen the stuff that they're advocating releasing. Yeah, they've seen a lot of stuff.
I mean, do we know? I guess what I would say is, do we know that they've seen, per se, the list of people that are portrayed as doing something different?
We don't know what we don't know, right? So that's a hard question to ask. But again, Donald Trump said it was a hoax. He didn't say it was an open investigation. So even if that was true, then it gets even more weird. Like if it is true that they're withholding this information because there's an investigation, it's even more weird that Trump is lying about it. That he's like, "Oh, it's just a hoax. Ignore it." That's way worse. Why would he do that? I think that a lot of you guys are struggling right now with realizing that this guy he will lie to you, and this is maybe unfair, but I think a lot of you, after you realize that Donald Trump is capable of lying right to your face about stuff that you know is untrue, you're going to take a different look at like all the things he's been through, and you'll start to realize that there's a pattern here. Donald Trump, despite overwhelming evidence, convinces his voters that there is no evidence, or that the fact that there's a lot of evidence means that that's what makes it a hoax. But yeah, I don't think calling it a hoax is going to convince people that he's withholding it for national security purposes.
Well, again, I think why he called it a hoax is that, do I agree with what he's doing and what they're trying to do is hold it back? No, I think they should. Personally, I think the victims, whoever came forward today, they just need to go full blast and let's talk about it and get them on the news, get them out there in public, and really let them explain their story. And let them name names. Let them name drop.
But
let them do stuff.
The reason they're not doing that, and the reason they're demanding Congress act, is because they're afraid for their lives. And it seems like everybody is offering them protection except for Donald Trump. So if they're saying like, if this gets out, like our lives are at danger, it would make sense that the people who would maybe cause their lives to be in danger might be the people that are saying, don't let this out. And then you got to look at like, how did Epstein die? Who was running the Justice Department when that happened? What happened to that 10 hours of video? Why did the Trump administration tell us that video was gone? Why, when they gave it back to us, was it edited? Why did they edit out clips? Why did they tell us that you could see the stairwell when you couldn't? Why so many lies from this administration? How many more things have to be untrue, and how many more things have to happen under the nose of Trump's administration? Epstein's sweetheart deal was with Alex Acosta. He worked in the Trump administration later. They hired him. His attorney was what's his name? What is his? Dershowitz. And then Dershowitz, once this became a story, Dershowitz is out on TV defending Donald Trump. Like, how many more things have to line up with Trump before we say, I think he's hiding something?
I think they're all hiding something. What it is, who knows?
Who's they all?
Well, I'm the administration, Trump, whoever's. I think it falls deeper than Trump. That's the whole thing.
Who would be deeper than Trump?
Who knows, man? I honestly, I couldn't. Who could control our presidents?
Who could?
Other countries with more information and more
perhaps Israel
stuff on these guys.
Perhaps Israel.
Maybe.
Does Does that kind of
maybe Israel?
when you think that it could be Israel or maybe it's Russia? Those are two of the countries we know for sure have tried to corrupt our politicians. Those are the two biggest ones. Does it make you wonder now why, like, Russia, if it's Russia, that would make sense that Trump isn't really doing anything to stop that war. And if it's Israel, it would make sense that he's just letting Israel do a genocide. Like, if we try and blame somebody outside of Trump, it gets worse. When we start saying it's
it does get worse.
Yeah. And now we've got an entire Republican Party who is complicit with a genocide and also complicit with not protecting the victims of Epstein. In fact, covering for the world's most notorious child sex abuser.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm going to jump back for a minute, and where even Biden, when he was president, and I think we were on the fence with Israel and Palestine. And we were basically supplying both with money and stuff, not trying to tread on Israel and not trying to tread on Palestine by here we're going to supply Israel with money and weapons, and then we're going to supply Palestine with food and stuff like that and money. And so we were on the fence with that. And now Trump is on the fence as well.
Oh, no, he's not. He's not on the fence. He is in the pocket.
Well, I guess. And then same thing with Russia, with this Russia and Ukraine stuff. We got three countries that are just out there. And it's not good.
And the two aggressors, the two ones that are more powerful and are who occupiers, those are the two leaders that Trump's friends with. Those are the two most likely people that Trump would maybe cover for.
Yeah, that's a possibility. It really is a possibility, and that just makes everything a lot worse. I mean, hell, I think our whole government's corrupt anyways. I think we need to get rid of 537 politicians and start over again.
Yeah, I think that is, respectfully, I think that's a little bit of like hope. Like, I think that I would understand feeling that way if I was MAGA right now, because everybody you voted for, with the exception of like 4 brave women, are hiding the truth from you and actively like participating in a genocide. And so if I had voted for that, I might also say like, oh, everybody's corrupt. But I would just challenge you, like, in all the time Trump has been in the political picture, he's been convicted of multiple crimes. He's been impeached twice, and nobody on the left with any real power has gotten in any trouble. Despite the fact that, like, they investigated Joe Biden for 3 straight years. They investigated Hillary Clinton for 3 straight years. They were going to lock him up. I think it might be time for you guys to start saying, I think we got duped. And I think that this guy was lying the whole time.
Well, I've always thought that our whole government has been corrupt. I don't think a mass majority of our politicians have us in our best interests.
Yeah, but one clearly has.
I don't ever have thought that way.
But one of them clearly doesn't have our best interests. Like, it's automatic at this point. Like, everybody knows Trump cares about himself and his friends first, and Israel and Russia probably second, and America third. And so you can say that, but like, I don't think you can say that about other politicians. I don't think you can say that about even like Republican politicians previous to Trump. I think it's time we acknowledge the reality of what we got here. We got conned by a guy who literally his entire career was a con man. He just conned people out of money. He just destroyed people's lives. He ran for president. He won. He conned you guys then. He absolutely worked with Russia. He absolutely tried to threaten Ukraine. He was absolutely, at the very least, aware of an insurrection on January 6th. He gets right back into office saying, I'll be a dictator on day one. And he has been nothing but be a dictator for 6 straight months now. He's defying the Constitution openly every single day. He's using troops on American people now at this point. He's now attacking Venezuela without a declaration of war. He's threatening blue states to take them over. Like, I just am wondering, at what point are we going to be willing to say this guy is not who he told us he was?
Well, let me ask you, how do you propose, why isn't he being impeached again right now? Why aren't they going after him to impeach him and to get him office now, right now?
My guess is that they don't have the votes. Like, it's a minority party. You can't even really get that onto the floor. There's not enough people to try and impeach him. You're going to need to win the midterms, or you're going to have a significant amount of Republicans who are willing to do it. I think this could do it, honestly. If Trump keeps going down this road and he refuses to release the Epstein files, like, the public perception is going to be too much. There's nobody in media outside of like Trump sycophants who aren't going to bury him for this. And it's going to be everybody. It's going to be Rogan. It's going to start being right wing. I mean, we're already seeing it. A lot of right wing content creators are burying him.
Well, yeah, I think a vast majority of people who voted for him want them released, and want them released. Want to bury everybody. Like, whoever's on the list, whoever's involved, take them down.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, doesn't matter who it is, take them down, and get them out there.
Yeah.
Now, I think it needs to happen. And how does that happen? Does it take more than the people signing a petition to do it?
The discharge petition. If you get 2 more Republicans, it becomes law. Basically, there's nothing. I mean, Trump can veto it, which he probably will, but then you can send it back, and they can they can override the veto. Yeah, what it really takes in order for us to get the Epstein list, all that needs to happen is a bunch of a handful of Republicans need to stop being afraid of Donald Trump.
Well, didn't the other guy come in here and say there were like 12 or 14 Republicans that were willing to sign the petition?
So there's another, like, Republicans are pushing for this thing where they're saying they're going to release the Epstein files, but it's going to be under the control of James Comer, and he alone is going to make those decisions. And obviously Democrats aren't on board with that. That's crazy to say, like, we're going to give Donald Trump's like guy in Congress, we're going to give him the right to determine what is released. So they're talking about that, and they're lying to you guys right now. They're like, this is actually more comprehensive. What we really want to do is we want to slowly release these files and make sure that they're all accurate, and then we're going to go to the Supreme Court, and we're going to convince the Supreme Court to get the grand jury testimony released. Which will prove nothing. The judges are like, everything in the grand jury is in those files. You don't need the grand jury testimony. So it's just a stall tactic. But all it really takes is Republicans, whoever your member of Congress is, if you could talk to them, wouldn't you ask them, like, hey, dude, why are you not signing on to this petition? Why have you not decided that we need to see the Epstein files? And if they were honest, they'd be like, because we're afraid of Donald Trump.
And then I would say that was foolish. They just need to do it because it doesn't matter. Because if everything's released and whatever comes out, and it's all negative, or it's all going to be negative anyways, but negative towards Trump or negative towards whatever happens, we just need to flow with it.
Yeah.
And is it going to hurt a bunch of people? Probably, most definitely, but it just needs to happen. And if it's true that people are just afraid of it, what's going to happen to them? Honestly, I mean,
well, this is
how bad could it be for somebody if every Republican signed off on it and every Democrat signed off on it? How bad could it be for the Republicans that do sign off on it?
Well,
at the end of the day,
there's a lot of theories about that. Wouldn't you imagine that wouldn't you like to imagine that these politicians, that if they could see that it benefits them, which this would obviously benefit them, if we could see that it benefits them, but they don't want to release it, we're left with a couple of conclusions. We could conclude that maybe they just really do want an authoritarian. Maybe like they want Trump to be king or to be the fascist. You could maybe assume that he's got dirt on them that he's holding over their head. Or you could assume that they just want to stay in power and they think Trump's going to beat this and that all they have to do is wait it out. But the only thing that's not an option is that they're doing the right thing. In every one of those options is they're afraid of Trump for some reason. And like, this is what fascism is. And Trump is refusing to do what the people want. He's threatening politicians who don't go along with him. He's threatening blue states. He's threatening blue governors. He's threatening blue cities. Like, we're doing fascism. We've long passed it. It's not a debate anymore. You guys didn't like that we said it, and we're going to probably gloat about it and be assholes that we predicted it correctly. But America's we've got to just toughen up. And right now, it sucks for the right. You guys kind of have to eat shit for a little bit. But this is fascism, and if we don't stop it, we don't have democracy anymore. If Donald Trump gets away with this, If he doesn't have to release this, he is going to consolidate power. He's going to take over. We've long passed democracy. It's fascism now, and it's up to you guys and Republicans to do the right thing. And if you don't, like, this shit's over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I go that deep, but I understand what you're coming from. I do think, again, I think that they need to be released. I think everybody needs to sign off on it and get them released, and let the dominoes fall where they may. And if you can't, I think even if let's just say I was on that list, or somebody had something over me, I'd still want it released because I wouldn't give a shit anymore. I'd be like, the hell with it, clear my conscience.
Sure.
It's, clear my conscience, get them released. If it puts me 6 feet under the jail, the hell with it.
Yeah.
I say that because why not free your conscience? At the end of the day, why not free your conscience? If you're not human if you're not going to free your conscience from this.
Can I say, just I appreciate everything you're saying. I believe you, and I think that you obviously like have a conscience. And I don't think this is a reflection on you, so I don't want it to be that way. But does it bother you that like it's only the women in the Republican Party that are siding here? Do you feel like that's
I didn't know that?
Yeah. So you have Thomas Massey, I guess, which I think he considers himself a libertarian, so I don't count him. And then everybody else that is signed onto this discharge petition, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, who to Trump said, like, nobody loves Trump more than Marjorie Taylor Greene. You could watch a video of her like rubbing his crotch on a cutout. Like, nobody has loved her more. She called him a coward today. Lauren Boebert. I don't know if Anna Paulina Luna finally has said. She said she was going to, but I don't think she signed it. And then I think Nancy Mace said she was going to as well. But it's Thomas Massey and then like some women. And all of the men are literally just like running to Trump and waiting for him to tell them what to do. Like, it seems like for a party that like does care about masculinity and like keeping men strong, there seems to be a whole lot of cucks, a whole lot of people willing to just like do whatever Donnie says.
Yeah, that's disturbing. It's disturbing. Again, I think grow a set, sign a petition. Let's get it out there. And if it ends up burying you, you deserve to be buried. That's just my feeling. It is again, what kind of person are you at the end of the day? Where are your morals at the end of the day? Is it money that's going to keep your life going, or is it really going to be saying, "Hey, I've got morals, even though I'm on the list or whatever it is that somebody has on me, I'm just going to sign it anyways. To hell with it."
Yeah, I agree.
That's just my take on it. Just because I don't know if I could live with myself knowing that it's not just me there getting away with it. It's 100 other people, or 50 other people.
Look, I'm gonna be honest,
and all these people got hurt.
I'm gonna be honest. These conversations are like they're making me feel a lot more optimistic. Like most of the people we've talked to tonight that are, and some like Pops, like me. Pops even said like I don't like that we're agreeing, but it is giving me like some promise that you guys are willing to say that. I think that honestly it does take courage, because there's MAGA people that are gonna hate you for saying this. There are people that like Trump till they die. That I don't know what your reputation is around here, but you'll get some pushback. So I appreciate you being honest and willing to say like, yeah, let's just do the right thing. I appreciate
I'm not a Trump lover. I voted for him. I'm not a Trump lover. I don't like what he's done and a lot of things he's been doing. I don't like it. And I'll criticize him for it. Again, this list is part of it. Put it out there. Let's release it. Some of these other things he's done, I don't agree with, and I'll say, hey, he's an idiot for doing it. But I think that goes with all presidents. But again, I can chastise him. I voted for him. I can chastise him. I can say, hey, he's wrong in this. He needs to get it out there. And if it takes me signing a petition myself to say, hey, release the files. Amongst these 360 million people we have here in the U.S., maybe we all need to sign a petition saying release the files and get them to do it.
Yeah, we got to blow up our members of Congress. I think that if everybody, especially if if people hear from their constituents in like, you know, where if they're deep red and they're hearing from their own constituents that are Republican voters, I think that makes the difference. I think that like that's where we're at right now. We're relying on you guys to, and I appreciate you saying that and doing the right thing. Like, we can go back to disagreeing later, but right now I think most of the country recognizes what's happening, and it can go a long way to heal the country if we all have to come together and say like, hey, you can't just hide this shit from us. I think that goes a long way to in the future healing things. Hopefully.
Oh yeah,
I'm too optimistic. One of the two.
Both. I think it's both. I think it's good to be optimistic. I think, look, at the end of the day, even as much as it'll bring people together, it'll also tear people apart, right? Because you're going to have the guys or the people who are going to be, this is the death of me, right? Because this happened.
Yeah.
But I think it'll bring more people together. Well, you would hope so. You would hope that people like, and I'll say myself, will say, hey, I'm sorry, we fucked up. And you would say on your end, it's okay. Let's work on this together. And you won't be the person that says, hey, you voted for him and you did this and we're going to cut you off and kick you out and do stuff. And that would just make it just as bad as it is now.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk like a little bit of shit, just because I'm kind of a dick. But like, I'll try and keep it. I'll try and keep it cool.
Well, we knew that already. Come on,
everybody knew that. That's true. Yeah,
we knew that already. I mean, look, I've seen your conversations with SK, with Millie, with several different people.
That's not good. That's not good.
No, look, I think good conversations, bad, good, or indifferent, or the fighting in between, knowing that at the end of the day, I don't think you guys hate each other for it.
No.
I think I think it's just a big fight, right? You know, you argue, disagree, you jump down at your throat, and hopefully at the end of the day, you can shake hands and say, hey, we just agree to disagree on this.
Yeah, I appreciate
and let's move forward. You can't hate somebody. I mean, you can. I don't.
I appreciate that. It takes a lot of energy to hate somebody. It does.
It takes too much energy to hate somebody.
Yeah.
It really does, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your different opinions, your different outputs. And I don't agree with you on everything. I mean, hell.
How dare you?
I could disagree with you on the Venezuela thing, right?
Yeah.
Real quick. Like, my dad worked for ConocoPhillips.
Okay.
And my dad told me why they pulled out. And he told me they pulled out because when they pulled out, well, Chevron had pulled out right before them, I think. And then ConocoPhillips pulled out because they wanted to control the projects that ConocoPhillips was running. So they didn't want ConocoPhillips projects to be run by ConocoPhillips people. They wanted their people to run their projects. And ConocoPhillips was like, you don't tell us what to do with our people. And so they finally pulled them.
Yeah, I think that had to do with nationalizing the oil. I agree with that, and I actually do agree that's why they left. I was saying that I didn't think that was the main reason that their economy crashed.
Yeah. When they pulled everybody, and then they started doing all the sanctions, and the economy crashed.
Yeah,
I mean but again, I think the vast majority of it was because they wanted to control those companies.
Right, but when you look at it, like, those are American companies, and Venezuela does have the right to say that they want to control oil, like that they want to nationalize it. So if Conoco leaving, like, I understand them saying we left because we didn't have control, we can't control the profit, but like that's Venezuela, that's their country, those are their resources. I'm not too worried about ConocoPhillips. Like, if Venezuela wants to own those resources, they should.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think that if it's your company, you could tell them, hey, for instance, hey, I don't want you to drill in this certain area. Cool. Or I only want you to pull this much oil from this certain area. Cool. But if you're actually telling them, I'm going to control what you do completely, man. No,
that was the point. Yeah, they wanted those oil companies out. I think it was mutually beneficial. I think both of them wanted that. I don't think the Venezuelans wanted, or at least the Venezuelan government wanted to keep ConocoPhillips there because they didn't want to share the profits, and ConocoPhillips didn't want to share the profits. So you just had two people that wanted all the profits, and at the end of the day, of course, Venezuela's going to win. It's their country.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Brother, it was good talking to you. I appreciated that.
It's good talking to you too. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thanks,
Even though I don't agree with you on everything, you still have a lot of great points, and I like to hear you argue. And I also like to hear when you do get people such as a couple of other guys that you've had on here that you actually, I want to tell them to shut up and listen to you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank
you.
Can you shut up and just listen to him because he's talking?
Thanks,
he's
man.
talking facts and truths here. Why don't you just shut up and listen to him? You don't have to agree with him. Just shut up and listen and learn something.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anyways,
I do.
Have a good one. Appreciate it.
We'll see it.
I mean, you stay safe.
All right.
That was very interesting. That was very interesting.
We're going to bring up Turtle Cross. I don't know how much more stamina I got, but we'll go. Jen may leave soon. We may shut off on YouTube as soon as Jen's ready to shut it off on YouTube. There's Jen right there. She might be ready. Oh, she clearly?
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Well,
Okay,
Jasmine. Do you want to check your Cash App, see if you got any donations?
Oh, yeah.
You got
Thank
a super chat. Lee's on YouTube. There has to be a line that we can't cross as humans. This is one of them. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people are feeling that too. I think it's been a really eye-opening night that way. I don't see anything Cash App or PayPal. I think we're good.
okay, Turtle didn't appear to be opposition. So I mean, I don't. It's you don't have to be on all night long. I mean, I'm sure Mike would come back if you wanted to come back. I think other people might leave.
Really, Jen?
No, if there's people that want to debate, we'll stay. If not, I'll go. I just don't. I feel like
I don't see anyone in request. I don't know if you see anyone in here.
Did we remove?
No, I just
Croc Duck or whatever that was.
Wait, he didn't look to be up when I checked his profile.
Okay. What were we saying, Admir?
No, I was just gonna say, man. I'm. How do I put this? I'm actually glad that we're doing this, and I mean, this isn't just to kind of kiss anybody's ass. It's. I think we're opening eyes to people. I don't think neither one of us, you, me, or Amanda, or anybody that does this, I don't think we're trying to change people's minds on what to do. I think what we're trying to do is give them the information, and in hope in return that they start asking questions. Because as soon as they start asking questions, it's done. So I'm glad that we're doing this. I really am. So it's very interesting, informative. I can't be happier, man. I really can't.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Like I didn't expect it to be this way. Like that this would be what brought everything down. I don't think anybody would have told. Like if you would have told us before the election, I don't know if I would have bought into it that they would like bury the Epstein list like this publicly. And I think legitimately, did any of you watch Trump's press conference today?
I watched like 3 minutes of it.
Dude, it was insane. Like that guy didn't come close to an answer at any point. Like he is everywhere. He's clearly shook, but when you say like once you start asking questions, the one thing that I get from almost everybody who was at one point like MAGA or they voted for Trump and now they don't like him anymore. Universally, everybody says the same thing. They're like, it's like I don't know why I didn't realize he was so dumb. Like that he's just actually like a really, really confident dumb guy. That's what everybody says the same thing. Because then once the aura is gone, once you stop thinking he's doing like 5D chess and you listen to the words that he's saying, you're like, oh my God, that doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? And today he was trying to talk about Gavin Newsom and the poor like president from Poland could not keep track of what the fuck this guy was saying. Because he's like talking about Chicago and then he's like, we have this, Chicago's a mess. And we have this governor and this governor's of a state and they were letting the water go to the ocean. And I stopped the water from going. And it's just like, Nobody in that room who hadn't heard Trump before knew what he was talking about, and everybody just sits there and acts like it's normal. Like this guy.
Well, they treat it like football teams.
Yeah,
they treat it like a sports team. Like it doesn't matter how bad their team is, but they've been. I mean, we're Niners fans. We can get it recently. I mean, you support your team no matter how bad things have been. It. People treat it like sports teams.
Not me. I'm fair weather. I'm so fair weather. When the Niners are bad, I take Sundays off.
But you know what I find it really interesting in, because before the election, I remember, even I was doing it. We were debating on Biden's, that he was not there, and he was talking about all these things, and I'm starting to notice the pattern. Trump is starting doing the same thing, and so I can't wait to see how they're going to try to spin this, because I think his health is declining.
Yeah,
he's not looking good at all.
Yeah.
And listen, to be perfectly clear, I don't wish, unaliving nobody. Whether I disagree with him and all that, or I don't wish that upon. He's just not looking good. I don't think it's the right thing to let this man go through this stuff. But on the other hand, what happens?
I'll say it. I won't be sad if something happened.
Oh man,
I'll say it.
You said it. I didn't.
So I said I'll say it.
And he's just not looking good, man. He's a totally different person from getting elected. It's all today, night and day.
Yeah, I think this is the first time the whole time he's been president that he feels like he's lost control, and he has. He hasn't lost control of the party yet, but he's lost control of the electorate. Like the MAGA voter, they're mad. Most of them.
Yeah, he's never had the pushback that he's getting.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to react to it, because every pushback that he has gotten, he's been able to kind of sweep under the rug. Now it's the base is actually pissed off, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. He doesn't know how to handle it, and it's going to be very interesting the next, I'd say, week or two.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know if they're going to have to force his hand. This is an interesting place that we're going, because I think Trump thinks he can just outlast this, and I mean Congress they can do the petition. Then if he vetoes it, and it goes back through Congress and they override the veto, I think then there you have no choice but to impeach him. It's bad. It's bad for him. I don't know how he gets through this one. If he gets through this,
I don't think
we're all so fucked. We're so fucked if he gets through.
Yeah,
this.
I mean, it's done and over with for for everybody. It's done. I think this is going to be the downfall. But then again, I mean, let's say the plays with what you just said. I mean, you go from bad to worse with JD Vance. I think he's much more. I think he's way more dangerous.
Yeah, but I think it's if this is how Trump goes down, JD Vance loses all his power too, because then JD Vance becomes the guy who just kowtowed to Trump and sat by and did nothing with the Epstein files. You can't then be like, oh, JD Vance is a smart guy while he just sat by. This muddies everybody in the administration. I think this is the end. If he goes down, I think that's the end of MAGA for a while. Anybody MAGA adjacent is going to be a problem, because anytime they run in an election, everybody's going to be able to tie them to this. That's a hard person to get elected if you can tie them to covering up for Epstein every time.
Yeah, and I mean, and to bring up to your point that you said earlier, if he does go out and kind of turns on his friends, he becomes a hero. And that's the part that I just can't understand as to why wouldn't he just do that? You know what I mean?
Well, look, I think the most compelling argument, and this is how we ended the show, and this I'll give people. There's no show tomorrow, but on Friday we're going to do it. But I think that the most compelling argument, the argument I've seen the most data for, is that if this is Elon that's on this list, and Trump is covering for Elon. The only thing that makes any sense, and if nobody saw the show today or some of the other ones we've done, this is going to sound crazy, but the only thing that makes any sense to me is that they legitimately did cheat on that election, and that's what Elon has over Trump. Because otherwise, what reason would Trump have to cover for Elon? What possibly could he be doing to cover for Elon? If he buries Elon, that's great for him. They've already had a very public falling out. Why in the world would Trump Trump's not a loyal friend. Trump's not going to go down with this and take the heat for Elon because he's a loyal friend. Trump will abandon anybody and everybody. And so somebody's going to have to tell me a better explanation for why Trump would protect Elon if that's the way this goes down. And if that turns out to be what it is, we're going to have a real discussion about election fraud. And I think then it's open season, and Republicans won't really be able to stop it. They'll have to go along with it. And anyways, we'll see. it would be interesting if that's how this all comes crashing down.
Yeah,
Have you seen that
I agree.
election fraud stuff that I did? Have you seen the?
No, I haven't seen it, man. I don't even know. Listen, man, I gotta get with Jen to teach me how to do some of this stuff. Man, I don't like. I'll come into your guys' when you do your daily thing, and I'll just listen. Everything else, like I was trying to pull up mic stuff. I'm technologically not there.
So I got my Peepaw 1 and 2. Like Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Oh, thanks.
What's the name of that organization that's doing the audits? Do you remember, Jen?
I
forget this. Election Truth Alliance.
Yeah.
If any of you guys haven't seen this, if you go to electiontruthalliance.org, and Republicans are going to poo-poo this, and I poo-pooed it for a long time too, but there are some scarily unscientific graphs or things that like don't follow natural processes in the election. And when you realize that Elon Musk created an app to track the election, and that hours before the election was called, he called it, he shouldn't even have access to that. The fact that Joe Rogan told that story, that Elon Musk created an app and knew 4 hours before the election was over that it was over, and Trump in his like victory speech is like, we sent Elon to Pennsylvania. He knows all about those computers. He did like, there's no reason to know about those computers because you're not supposed to have access to them, and there should be no back door. So somebody's going to have to explain why Elon had an app that gave him access to these voting machines when there shouldn't be a back door, and why Trump gave him on election night credit for knowing those machines. And then also why Elon said, if Trump doesn't win, I'm fucked. There will be no plausible deniability. I'll spend the rest of my life in jail. These are some pretty...
He did that on Joe Rogan, right?
He did that...
If I remember correctly, he did that on...
That was with Tucker Carlson.
Tucker. Oh, yeah.
So are you saying that Trump let Elon into his back door?
Oh.
You're asking for clarification.
And I just want to hear a better explanation for why he would cover for Elon. If that's the case, I can't think of a better explanation than that.
That's an actually pretty good one. Because to your point earlier when you said, when he did that tweet, he just kind of let him slide.
Yeah.
Normally Trump would be outraged. But he just let him slide like nothing. It was just, okay, have a good day.
Yeah. Trump never.
Nobody talked about that either.
It was it was weird.
And so it's one of those things that it's like, well, what does he really know? What does he really have?
He only does that with a few people, and it's people that are more powerful than him. And Elon, at least at that time, was more powerful than him. He does it to Putin. He does it to Netanyahu. He does it to Xi. Did you see in his press conference today, they brought up, they're like, did you see that meeting that Kim Jong-un and Putin and Xi had? And he's like, yeah. And I noticed when they were talking, they didn't even give me any credit. He's like, he literally said, me and Xi are friends. I thought we were better friends than that. That's what he said today. In a press conference, I can't believe those guys were talking shit about me. I thought we were friends. And everybody's like, yeah, that's totally normal. That the three biggest dictators in the world, you're mad that you didn't get invited to their party and you thought you were better friends.
Yeah, they're my homeboys, it's all good. Come on over.
They're all going to bury him too. They're all going to bury him. They'll all turn on him too. Everybody's going to realize real quick that Trump he's not running the show. Trump's just getting played by everybody.
And that's the scary part is, in his head, the unpredictability of this man is what's the scariest thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what he's capable of. You don't know if he's going to do something crazy or if he's going to do, you just don't know. And I think that's the scary part.
Well, it's that plus that he's enabled. So nobody around him ever is like, hey, that's crazy. They just let him. They're just like they cheer him on every time he does something crazy. They run to a microphone. You got the entire administration runs to a microphone to see who can publicly jack him off quicker. And the crazier it is, the more they're like, I know it sounds crazy, but that just furthers my belief that he's right, because if it makes the libs mad, then it must be right. And so every time he does something insane that normal people are like, what the fuck? They're like, that means he's on the right track, because if libs are mad, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Such a weird.
it's always.
It's interesting. So I've got a grandmother who's she's going through dementia. Like I don't see her very often. She lives on the other side of the country. But like I had a conversation with her like last weekend, and no joke, every like 3 or 4 minutes she just like repeated something else or something weird. And so it's just like, oh yeah, you just kind of like nod. Oh yeah, grandma, that makes sense. And it's similar to Trump. It's like, yeah, just nodding, going on with whatever he says. Doesn't make any sense, but yeah, that makes sense. So.
Yeah, that's how normal people would treat that. These guys are like, actually, that makes so much sense that we should give you a. Oh, that was thunder. We should give you a Nobel Prize. Now, like they're openly campaigning for him to get a Nobel Prize, like because he said something. He's like, "Sir, you ended the war that was being waged against us by windmills. Here's a Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody could have ever saved us from the windmills like you."
Hey, really quick, I want to address something in the comments. Can we not come for people on the panel?
Well,
that's something I've noticed. It's kind of irritating the shit out of me.
We don't kink shame Jen.
No, it's just
It's okay, Jen.
It's something that I've noticed. Can you guys? Amanda's coming here to bring opposition to help us out. Can we not talk shit to her all the time in the chat?
Oh.
I just want to call that out. So she comes here. She's getting a lot of grief from you guys. Can you just chill out for a minute?
Look, I don't want to speak for Amanda, but like if you're upset with Amanda right now, you don't know who the fuck Amanda is. So
I've just seen it. It seems like she's been here and there, and I meant to call it out before. I just wish people would stop targeting at her. No, Jen's annoyed. Jen's fine. She's annoyed, which isn't unusual. I just don't like when people come at people and are disrespectful to people here trying to bring in opposition for us. That's all.
Take that, whoever just got in trouble.
Yeah, I'm like,
that sucks.
I don't want no part of it. I don't want no part of it.
I've been on the other side of getting in trouble by Jen. It's the worst.
Yeah.
But Jen, I want to be clear. People can come to the people on the panel, just not come, and they can come for them, but not come after them, right?
I mean, I think it's just we want to bring people in to have opposition, and oftentimes I see people in the chat that are just vicious, and so I think oftentimes it creates a space where people don't want to come in here, which I think it makes it difficult for wanting to have conversations with us, and they just get nastiness, and we've seen people that get hate in their DMs and stuff like that, which isn't cool. So it's something you've seen before.
For me.
What's that? Jen, I was making a cum joke, actually.
I know.
Okay.
I blew past it. I ignored it. You act like I don't ignore you.
That's a good point. A very good point. All right. Do we have anybody else that wants to debate? Somebody's tagging somebody named Justin.
Cam was lying to
pretend
to Amanda too. Cam was trying to say he was opposition.
Cam's a sneaky little bastard. Him and Fuzzard.
There was a question I think from Venmo. Let me find it and get it.
Okay.
Buzzard always does this, and I can never catch him.
Well, you barely can operate a phone, bud, so I don't think anybody's.
Hey, listen, coming from you, I'm not even. I'm just gonna take that as a compliment. So,
dude, I use a computer every day with like less than 100.
Yeah, with Jen's help. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So here's the Venmo. Confused on whether the files have enough to indict anyone else because that option or Biden DOJ was corrupt, lazy, etc., which makes no sense. / don't believe. Thoughts on why Biden DOJ didn't indict anyone else? Let me read it. Want me to read it again?
Well, what it sounds... Yeah, no, I understood. I think what it sounds like from what I've heard, obviously this is a guess, but from what it sounds like is that the accusation is that there was a government cover-up. And so if those people were in place during the Biden administration and they were covering this up, I don't know that, like, we have to understand that the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, they hide stuff from the president all the time. So when people say that if Joe Biden knew Trump was in there, he would have released it, I tend to agree with that. And if we're using Occam's razor, I would say if Trump winds up being in this, why didn't Joe Biden release it? Well, my first guess would be he probably didn't know. That doesn't mean that that's right, but I think like statistically that's probably the most sensible answer. But yeah, I think that this is more about a government cover-up than anything. That's what it sounds like everybody's saying, that Mike Johnson kind of alluded to it. So did James Comer. So did Anna Paulina Luna. They all kind of referenced that this seems to be a government cover-up to protect very rich people. That's kind of what they all say. And Anna Paulina Luna was also like, and foreign adversaries. So I don't think anybody's trying to say that I don't think anybody's even trying to make the claim necessarily that that Trump or anybody was in the files in any way, or that like it's a government official. They seem to say that it's rich people in the files, and those people use their connections with the government to keep it covered up. So that's where the prosecutions would come from, I think.
I mean, I have a little different take. Yeah, I have a little different take on that as far as that goes. Because we all know when something is under investigation, you cannot release anything. We know that, right? And so during the Biden administration, Maxwell came in and they had everything else. So even if he wanted to release it, he couldn't. I mean, whether I like it or not, he couldn't because she was dealing with her old case.
Like during the trial? Yeah. During the trial,
Yeah.
they couldn't release it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that now. I mean, whether you want to make an argument, I think it's a silly argument. And, you know, I'll say it. Even if Biden did come out and release it and he said, hey, Trump is on it, at the time, I would have been like, nope, you're lying. It's fabricated. You see what I'm saying? So I'm willing to bet 95% of the base would have said nope, especially with all the trials that were happening and everything else. They would have said, nope, we don't believe you. It's a setup.
Rasta Ranch wants to know Galaxy to watch you eat more. You got any more food left?
Isn't that on your special page, Admir? You have like feet with that one.
Listen.
Diaper and your feet out.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rolls and a bowl of my wife's hamburger helper, and then I got strawberry jam.
What's the jam?
And then I got my favorite. And then I got my favorite butter. So,
all right.
I'm happy, bro. So.
Your mic is trash, by the way. It cuts in and out so bad.
Cam wanted me to tell you that he sent you something important in Discord DMs.
Garen, it's going to say some shit about the Niners.
It's his words, not mine. I'm just passing on the message.
Yeah, I was right. I just want to let you know the Niners still suck. Get fucked, Cam.
So,
all right. Well, I guess we'll call it a night then. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Admir,
thanks. No show tomorrow?
Yeah, no show tomorrow. I'm taking the day off tomorrow. It's been a long day. And then we'll be back Friday. Amanda, any last words from you?
Nope.
All right, everybody. We'll see you Friday. If you come across anything interesting with this Epstein stuff, don't be afraid to send it to me either on Discord or Twitter so I can check that out, and I'll have the outline ready to go for Friendly Friday this Friday. For all of you who stayed up late with us tonight, it was an absolute pleasure. Admir, it was nice watching you eat. Jen,
thank you.
It was nice watching you punish people, and Amanda, thanks for bringing in the crowd. We'll see everybody Friday, or if you only come here for debate nights, we'll see you next Wednesday night. Stay cute and cool.